Hello everybody and welcome to another video, part 13 of Janthir Wilds. It's looking like it's going to be 14 parts, so it's going to be a 14 part, a 2-week series basically. If you know, so I've had a day gap in between, so technically we've actually basically had a month of Janthir Wilds, which is wild to me because it still feels like the thing just came out. But yeah, so I'm thinking today's probably the penultimate episode, and you know, it's not that I want to be a downer and say that it's all coming to an end and stuff, but we're looking back at the Secrets of the Obscure playthrough. We did like the main release series, and then I did a post Secrets of the Obscure series, but it wasn't working because of the way that the events were structured. So it just kind of ended up fizzling out. I think there's only like 3 episodes, and I look back on that with a little bit of embarrassment. So having an actual stop is probably a good idea. Anyway, lots and lots to talk about. First of all, look who I'm on. I'm on Liz. Hey, hello. And also she sounds very loud. So, I don't know what order we should go into here. Actually, I do know what order we should go into. First of all, I have to say I did something really terrible in the last part. So, obviously, a lot of the conversation in the previous part was reflecting on the final instance. We'll talk about that a little bit in this episode. But while I was ranting away and chatting about, you know, my takes, about an hour in, I had a donation from one of you guys. I completely missed it. And every time I looked at chat, no one said, oh, WP, you missed a donation or anything. So I just feel terrible. It completely blindsided me. It was pure accident. And it was a huge donation as well. I'm really terribly sorry that I didn't respond to that. I feel awful. So I want to do that right here at the start. So this was from Aaron. Here's a screenshot. And thanks to Spud for helping me grab this screenshot really easily. It was £100, guys. £100. That's just insanely cool. Thank you very much. And they said, hey, WP, I haven't started watching the Janthir Wilds playthrough yet due to work commitments, but I just wanted to show my appreciation to you before the live series ends. All the best with all the rest of the series, and thank you for all the memories over the years. Thank you, man. I mean, life would be simple if everyone showed this level of generosity. Thank you so much. That's incredibly nice of you. I feel kind of bad, though. You know, this is a person who wasn't really watching it yet. What opinion must they have had logging in at that exact moment with me ranting about how bad I thought the end was? I mean, it must have been a real downer, right? And I don't want the end of the series to be a total downer either, you know? But I got to be honest about how I felt about it. You know, like someone joined Spud yesterday as well, and they said, oh, I'm watching the start of the series. I'm around episode 4, and that's when it's really cooking. And they're like, oh my god, your enthusiasm and excitement's really invigorated mine, and oh my god, yes, I'm into Guild Wars again. And as they were typing, I was thinking, oh god, I hope I don't kill that for them later in the series with the whinginess. So anyway, yeah, thank you very, very much for that, and hopefully it wasn't the situation of someone appearing, dropping a big donation, seeing me being miserable, and then leaving. I mean, I don't think I was being miserable. I think I paint myself in a bad light in retrospect quite often. I think I just talked through what I didn't like, and we're not always going to like everything. So on that topic, I had a huge amount of comments, lots and lots and lots of discussion about the Asgaran thing. I encourage any of you guys who are watching this in playlist view and you're just skipping episode to episode, maybe pause, go back, have a read. I'm not going to be doing a big Q&A section about that because there's so many messages. And we kind of already talked through it. But what I will say is everyone was incredibly polite and incredibly respectful. I didn't feel attacked or... Like, on the first day, there was definitely, like, this weird vibe from people that just really couldn't handle the fact that maybe I didn't like a bit. Everyone was very respectful, very nice. There were huge amounts of walls of text, loads and loads and loads of them, of people basically saying they agree or they disagree or, you know, to a varying degree. Maybe I've overshot it with my opinion here, maybe... You know, we're all somewhere on a spectrum, right? We're all somewhere along the slider as to how much we like or dislike it. And I think people were just really nice. So it was very good. And look, I do love those messages, but I feel like everything that's been said has been said. Well, not everything. There are a lot of cool nuggets and things that people mention. I don't know. Just pause it, go back, check the comments there. There's a lot of very, very good ones. And it didn't get very culture warsy either as well, which I think was quite nice. So thank you, everybody, basically. And I'm glad we had a bit of a chat about the end of the thing. So that's one thing. So that don't worry, there's not going to be a huge Q&A again going in circles about Asgaran. That's about it. Also, just here for the intro, the audio. So in the last part, I was messing with the audio because I'm building for this Final Fantasy XIV thing. And, you know, it's very immersive. It's like... It's cool RPG adventuring. and I really want to get the sounds in there, but it has some of the same problems as Guild Wars. So I had some feedback that it was too loud, but I think that was at the start before we turned it down. So I've turned the volume down even more today, and hopefully that's okay. I was going to try ducking, but I couldn't quite get it set up, and I'm a bit nervous about trying ducking. So we'll see. Just any other feedback you have about the audio. If you actively think it sounds better, I'd love to hear that. If you actively think it sounds worse, I'd love to hear that. If you don't really care or didn't think about anything, I mean, it's sort of a wash, really, isn't it? But anyway, so yeah, there's all that. And hopefully it doesn't sound terrible, because it has been tweaked again today. And so yeah, let's talk about lists. So I played with Kerry yesterday for hours and hours and hours and hours. I think between the two of us, well, between the two of us, we put like... Okay, we probably played like 10, 11 hours of this yesterday. We met up in the early afternoon or something like that, and we just played and played and played and played. And so I've essentially done a second playthrough here. You'll see I'm on part 8, Finding Balance. This is reflecting right before the big boss at the end, and we all know it. It's very short. The way they structure Janthir Wilds, I've noticed, is quite funny. Part 1 is really long, Part 2 is really long, Part 3 is really long, Part 4, they're all very long, and then the parts shrink towards the end. So you can be, like, 10 hours into your playthrough and still only on, like, Part 4 or something. And be like, oh my god, it's huge. And then they kind of rush through slightly towards the end. But yeah, and it's definitely a front-loaded expansion. This map definitely has way more variety, way more going on than this map. This map, however, has a really cool vibe and really, really good lore. So they're kind of balanced, and I do kind of agree with front-loading the expansion. If you have limited resources, I agree with front-loading it, right? So anyway, obviously in an ideal world, they'd both be as feature-rich as one another, but we're not in that world. They made this in a year, you know. So yeah, I got a load of reflections of my second playthrough. I've got some screenshots I took as I went along. It's surprising, guys. There's quite a few cool, weird little lore mysteries as the story was going along that I think are really interesting to look back at. And so I've taken some screenshots of those, just some fun little moments. I will say as well, it's so much easier to follow the second time through. It's so easy. Once you've played it once and you go back, it's so easy to be like, oh, that's this character, that's this character. He's the claw, he's the kid, that's, you know, poised arrow, and his nickname is Pokey. And like, I actually really picked up a lot. There's a lot in there about how the Lowland Coden, they have their formalities, but then they have like their pet names. And like, as you play it through, you'll see them picking up or dropping the way that they address people and stuff, and it's kind of nice. And obviously the Fading Aurora stuff is very obvious in retrospect. I feel like anyone who managed to play this and then go watch a stream series such as mine probably really helped to solidify what is going on in the X-Pack. And I think it is definitely worth a second playthrough just for that. And it was nice for me to experience it in a much more concrete way. So like, you meet a mysterious Coden right at the start, a female Coden, and your first instinct to say immediately is that Waiting Sorrow. But it's not. It's not even Fading Aurora. It's just another member of the council, right? So anyway, yeah, it was a nice playthrough. I've played Ellie Spear at this point. I actually just went back to Hammer quite quickly. I felt the buildcraft a bit better on this playthrough. I was enjoying it just a little bit more. Spear did it for me until I realised it was really glass cannon, and I kind of swapped off. But the build I played the whole way through basically is Celestial with Divinity Runes. And I just did, like, my classic... I can't remember where this is. This might be in the original Open World build series. I think I showed a Tempest variant. But the Fire Earth... I really like this build. Basically, you get a really nice mix of flat pressure, condi damage. You're incredibly tanky. It's just so clean, brain off. I've got the 1 stun break. I have the Signet trait, so you can actively pop the heal while experiencing all the passive heals. Signet of Fire is a bomber damage. It's just a really nice, clean build. And I basically played it on Hammer. For most of the time. The only really cool innovation is I am on a new relic. I'm on the Relic of Rivers. That's the relic that we bought from here, the very first heart. And this is whenever you dodge roll, you get regen and alacrity. This is like a huge thing, really. So I'm a quickness build. I AoE quickness, I provide my own quickness, and I round that out with my own alacrity now. So as far as solo is concerned, I have all the boons I need. I have 25 might, I have fury, I have alacrity, and I have quickness all in the same build. And obviously alacrity is very nice on a class that has, you know, 20 cooldowns plus, you know, the essentially 25 weapon cooldowns, really, in a way. So yeah, and this is very easily maintained. You just dodge a couple of times. Whenever you're in a... you have to be in combat. Whenever you're in a scenario where you're forced to dodge anyway, the Relic of Rivers feels really, really, really good. It sent me spiraling a little bit, thinking again about, like, how the Guild Wars meta should have been structured, really. To be careful about boons. And I was even analysing a little bit. When you get a bit of distance from the game, the idea that you need a separate guy providing quickness and alacrity, and just how annoying that is to form groups in LFG and build around, is kind of an easy thing to attack and think differently about and think maybe that shouldn't be in the game. But I kind of hate thinking about Guild Wars balance these days whenever I get remotely enthusiastic about it, because there are so many holes, and they're so passive, and they're so slow, and they're so leery to make significant changes, and they don't codify things. I mean, it would be fair to call this organised chaos, but I feel like it's a lot more on the chaos side than the organised side as far as Guild Wars is usually concerned. So like when I was progging Embodiment of Sin earlier in the year, and I just dropped out of that static, by the way, because it's conflicting with these stream schedules. So I've done my last EOS Ceres reclear last week. So anyway, like when I was doing that and I was in a group filled with virtuosos and all this shit, like I'm done being passionate about it. I think it's rubbish. And I hope that when they come to a new game that they really have some chops and some savvy about them, and they think ahead and they put things into proper buckets. That is, if you come along for my FF series very soon, guys, there is a huge chasm between the two games. This game has buildcraft, that game does not. But everything is organised very carefully. And we'll see what we think about that as we go along. Anyway, so yeah, I got alacrity and it was kind of fun. The spear seems OP in terms of damage, and it's got crazy visuals. It's nice to see them just go fuck it with like visual noise and just explode a bunch of stuff out. Like the etchings, I guess I can show them. I don't know what I'm just talking about. These etchings and then the follow-ups once you've actually, you know, how can I proc this here in an easy way? It's going to cancel because I know the target. But the flip overs on them are just obscene. The fire one is amazing. And these are only the smaller versions. Like that becomes the size of the etching basically. They're kind of doing that hammer thing where the 3 is just a disposable buff for you most times. But yeah, so I don't know. What else is there ready to say? I ran around with hammer. There was something else I was going to say. I can't remember what. Oh yeah, I had my spear and I looked like a pirate. I will say on replaying the story, the Lion's Arch instances were amazing. Again, they're so good, guys. They got so many details in there. And, you know, if you're not totally into the story, even then you can feel the Lion's Arch instance is like a real highlight, both of them. What else was there? I got to looking at more achievements and things. So because I did my second playthrough, if we look now at my story journal, Janthir Wilds Act 1, I have the mastery now. I have this done. I unlocked the Relic of Sorrow, and it's finished, and the reason for that is because I got to vote the other way on the Scepter of Ore vote, and so it dinged. Well, that might have been in Act 2. And here I had to... Do you remember we had to examine all the animals, and I missed the Raven? I missed one type. I got the Raven here as well, so I got this one as well, the Relic of Atrocity, which is 15% more lifesteal damage. I feel like relics are close to being a fun system, but they need, like, subcategories, and the UI needs to put them into columns, and we need to be able to pick more than one or something. There needs to be, like, another element to it. Anyway, and they feel really weird. There's so many relics are so mediocre and crap. And then you get really big ones that are very, like, build-defining, like getting quickness on wells and shit like that, you know, so... Anyway, yeah, and then there's this achievement, Returning Kindness. In the Home Sweet Home instance, which is while you're building your homestead up, you have to bring a gift of Wildflower Cicer to Deft Lahar and Patient Willow. And Deft Lahar's, like, really mean to you. I don't really know how to do this. And I looked briefly on Wiki, I couldn't really see, so I don't have that. But basically, I have the metas done. Speaking of metas, I got to looking into those as well. So for the maps, the map metas, I haven't really talked about this. So there are 30 objectives. Throughout this playthrough, you've seen me get 22. We're going to get some more in a second because of the adventures. But the final thing for the mastery is this back piece, guys. And the back piece is, I believe, the precursor for the back item. Yeah, see, it says this back item is used for crafting Janthir Wilds legendaries. So this is the precursor, and it does look cool. It's like ancient runestone-y type thing. I mean, it's just a star on our back for now, and only one of the things is lit up. I guess as we build it up, the others light up, maybe? But that looks interesting to me. I'm kind of keen on getting this. So you get the precursor for that from the Lowland Shore. And in Janthir Century, you get the precursor for the spear, I guess. It says this helmet is used for crafting legendary items. So that's a bit... or is there a legendary helmet that they're giving us? I don't know. Anyway, this is the Valkyrie bear helm. And that's a precursor as well. So you get precursors for doing the mastery achievement, the mastery metas, the meta achievements. And I just want to say, that's a genius idea. I've never really thought about tying those two things together. But I think that's really clever. And I think that's an excellent way. As long as the legendaries themselves are exciting. And whether you want to go for a legendary as a veteran player at this point is tricky because you already have loads of your own legendaries. And it's like... But what, you know, so like I didn't go for obsidian armor last expansion. But if you can find it in yourself to still be excited by legendaries, and there is something fundamentally missing there now, we're not in the days of 2012, if you can, this is genius. Because it will make you sample the expansion. Like, this is the expansion, really, scrolling through this. And you're going to be doing this stuff to get the mastery, to get the precursor, to even be on your way. So I think that's very clever. And, any other reflections? Oh, there's one other topic that I kind of have wanted to talk about ever since we were showing off the Guildhall stuff. And someone's been commenting and prompting me to remind me about this. This was since like episode 3 or something. So I guess I will explain real quick. So obviously I was thinking about guilds again and missing potential with guilds, but the exciting idea that maybe mini X packs can take fundamental features of the game and prop them up. So this time it was decorations. And with the Warclaw, I guess. Last time it was the Sky Scale, I guess, and the daily system with the Wizard's Vault. But I would love them to keep going with guild stuff, okay? I think they're really untapped. You know what I really kind of hate, to be honest? Everyone mail... Well, no, let me rephrase that. That sounds ridiculously egotistical. People mail me asking for invites to Spud, and I always say, you're welcome to join Spud, okay? We can have people, and we have, you know, people come online... And it's in the EU and the NA branch, and it's all cool, but I don't really interact with you guys in there. There's guild missions, right? But and the GMs will tell you, I very rarely came to guild missions. Almost never came to guild missions. Because there's nothing in it for me, really. And I liked it whenever I did come, and it was nice to have that community feel. And people ran guild missions for Spud for, like, years before finally hitting their breaking point and being like... can't really be bothered anymore. They're really good systems. I would love reasons to do guild missions. I would love the next mini X pack to look at guild missions, basically. I think they're very clever. I think they have a good content range. I think injecting just some more missions in there, some more mission types, reworking the infrastructure is a very good idea. Now, so they're weeklies, right? And they're kind of buried in here, and the rewards are all scuffed and all over the place. I would love the mini X pack, really. This is like one of the big things. One is Corteria for me, the other is guild missions. That I really think would do a lot for the community and building the game and so on and so on and so on. So anyway, so I was decorating and doing all this stuff, and I mentioned the Wizard's Vault, and that was something I wanted to talk about with it. How amazing, guys, would it be if the Wizard's Vault, okay... Let's look at the Wizard's Vault UI. You have daily, weekly, special across the top. Here we have this tab. It says objectives. How amazing would it be if instead of buried in the guild UI... So people's like... what's the word? Like the gameplay flow? I don't want to use the word loop. But the thing that people do, right, is they log in, they have their primary objective, like play the story if they haven't beaten or whatever. But once they're done with those primary objectives, they either log out or they find something to grind. And one of the things they'll do is they'll come to the Wizard's Vault and they'll say, okay, should I be interested in getting Astral Acclaim? Because Astral Acclaim is a good amount of money, and there are, you know, some of its own objectives. So most people, they'll log in and they'll pop this, and then they'll say, okay, do I want to do the daily, the weekly, the special? This is where this panel is where people are going to see what to do. And right now they have objectives here. Wouldn't it be amazing if there was another tab beneath objective that said guild objectives? So I look at these, and it's like, okay, I got these done. This is my checklist. These are the things I want to do here. I got my Astral Acclaim. Underneath, if there was guild objectives, you could click into that, and it would pop, essentially, everything your guild can do for that week or that day. And I really do mean that, or within those 90 days. If it works on a solos level, surely it should work on a guild level. And it could say, oh, we're going to do a bounty today. You can get a bounty group together. You can do this, you can do that. So people aren't, like, digging in here. And basically... what I'm advocating for here is to tie the rewards infrastructure to the vault, rework the numbers a bit, rework the rewards you can get. I think that could be really good. That would be instantly, if it was all tied to the same place, I think you'd have a lot of people logging in and saying to their guild, hey guys, do you want to play together? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And it would work. And I think it would be a very clean way of doing it. So yeah, I was just looking at that and the Wizards Vault and the fact it said objectives at the top. And I was thinking, man, if you just had a tab for guild objectives. Oh. And then there's this whole issue as well. The Wizards Vault and the guilds UI and design, they have the same thing. This cog, change your preferences. PvE, world versus world, PvP. There's this whole preference thing going on that is exactly the same with the Wizards Vault. Change your preferences. Like, it's very clearly 2 iterations of the same system, of the same, like, player engagement driving, and I think they can be unified. I would love to see that, and I think that's the kind of thing a mini-expat could do. So, that still doesn't, by the way, everything I just said there doesn't really help guild halls, or the buildings, or the traders that are here, or the upgrade processes and all that stuff. But, you know, another mini-expat can look at that. Yeah, I'm not saying they do everything all at once, obviously. But the idea basically that mini-expats can double... Do you remember the old classic feature packs that we used to get around Season 1? Which, in retrospect, were some of the most exciting updates. They would, like, look at system things. It's like a mini-expat can do... It's a content... It's a bunch of content. It's a story. But also, like, it's kind of like a feature pack, you know? So I think all of that would be very, very cool. And that was what I was going to say, but we were in the middle of the decoration stuff, so I just kind of moved on. I'm not saying I've got like some genius level insight here or something. I'm just saying that's what I was going to say, and I mentioned remind me. So there you go. That was that. Guild missions held you to get together for almost 10 years before everyone finally gave up, and it's this thing where like everyone's just getting ready to give up, you know. And there's a huge amount of conversations we can have about what the rewards should be. And legendary progression is obviously the big thing that they never had. And, you know, it was tight. For people that are totally out of the loop, they used to have a lot of meaning because they were good for one type of Ascended gear, the Ascended accessories. But then a million other ways to acquire said Ascended accessories came into the game. So it sort of became this thing where it's like, well, what the fuck? Why are we doing it? I mean, realistically, that's what it came down to. There are skins and minis and stuff, but a very, very small proportion of people actually went for them. In fact, I, at one point, had every single mini in the game, nearly enough, except the guild ones. Right? That's how unappetizing they were. So, yeah, it's just this thing where Hearthorns had really good ideas. It missed the implementation in some slight ways. And then Arena never went back. It's exactly the strong... There was something really major about Heart of Thorns for that. Where it was like, Heart of Thorns had a lot of big ideas, and then they just never wrestled with them, you know? Anyway, speaking of Heart of Thorns' big ideas, wrestling with them, Heart of Thorns Masteries. So, my second playthrough, I got a shit ton of XP, guys. I got so much XP on my second playthrough, it's unreal. So, what has happened here? I have, off-screen... I have procced Apprentice Handiworker and Initiate Handiworker, both of these. So this has unlocked more recipes for me. And it also says it's unlocked additional Homestead space? And a higher rest bonus. That's wild to me. I don't know what additional Homestead space actually means. Both of them have said that. So let's summon our doorway. Ooh. It's only the second time we've done that the whole playthrough. Visit our homestead. Does it make it bigger? Does it add more buildings and things around the outside? Did it push this wall further out, maybe? Oh, yeah, and we unlocked the, Actually, oh my god, oh, all my home instance stuff has moved, hasn't it? Holy shit, I haven't seen this. I guess we're going to do a tour of this now. What's that icon over there? Does that show me the boundary? And it's pushed this boundary out, has it? Like, if I go beyond, what's it going to say? By the way, press M while you're in the homestead. Check it out. I didn't show this off. This is really cool. Because this is clearly a tiny... So, oh, God. How do I show this? Let's leave again. This is... I alluded to this in a previous episode. But if we have a look here... Oh, some rooms in your house are locked. It's like upgrading a guild hall then, but without the cutscenes. Or the community feel. Okay, so like, we're living. Someone in Spud proposed that we were like living up here or something. It's like clearly here, which is a huge route to go, and they kind of gloss over that. But I'm fine with that, you know. And actually, I think that this is what Guild Wars should have been doing. I've got real I have a lot of opinions about world maps in video games and how to do them in a way that makes the world feel big and immersive, but also relevant to what you're actually experiencing. I think Guild Wars, in retrospect, kind of messed up with a lot of its world maps. But this is perfect. Because look, we've super zoomed in to a tiny fragment of the world map, which still feels very high resolution, by the way. How high res is their internal thing of the world map? I mean, Jesus Christ, look at these paint strokes. Anyway, we're super zoomed in, and we get this huge map in this little area. I like this kind of thing. This is the kind of thing that makes me feel like, wow, Tyria is vast, you know. Anyway, so yeah, I guess it unlocked some buildings. It didn't change the boundaries then. I didn't even really notice that before. By the way, on my second playthrough, I did like spear with a pirate look. I was also in a wedding dress for a while. I also bought the mini bee. There's so many minis to get. I don't know if Janthir Wilds did that mini like achievement meta collection type thing that Secrets of the Obscure did. But oh my god, the mini bee is brilliant. I actually turned off my miniatures randomizer for a while just to enjoy the bee. So yeah, here's kale, which I guess is what I grow in my garden. This just makes me think of Ascended cooking, to be honest, and what a miss that was. But hey. I sort of feel like Ascended cooking was one of the last chances they had to do something really fun and long-term with crafting and whatever, and it didn't happen. This place is cozy. How can I assist you in making it feel more like home? This is Deft Lahar. He was the guy that was mean to me. He's the guy I need to give flowers to. I'd like to know more about decorations. How do I unlock more with recipes, he says. So, I don't get decorations from different things. I just get them as I've progressed this mastery. Oh my god. Wait, hold on. That's all disciplines. Handy worker. Wow, there's a lot though. We can craft all of the apprentice ones now. Journeyman is still off. So, boulders. Oh, a bunch of the things I recognize from the guild halls. Wow, there's so many. Not bad, eh, guys? And then these ones I have unlocked now. Though there's less. Flagpoles, utensils. I have 3 out of a maximum 250 wardrobes. So then this is where we do the... Oh, but look, my airship cargo's here. Didn't I read something like there's a button you can press to gather everything all at once? Am I wrong about that, guys? We obviously need keys for a bunch of these. MMOs are swarming right now. What's this? What's up with bees? The queen bee in FF14. Bee stuff in WoW. More bees in Guild Wars 2. Yeah, people keep telling me there's bee stuff in FF14. A friend of mine is playing WoW at the moment, and he told me, oh, there's Mr. Quiggles. This is what this collection's about. Oh my god, did you guys hear that? Apparently there's like a city of spiders in WoW. It sounds very cool. Show or hide Mr. Squiggles. Hide? Why would I want to hide him? You're going to let me hide that, but not all the cats running around. In fact, are the cats running around? Have they migrated yet? It's always difficult to get a cat to move house, isn't it? You got to, like, keep them locked up for ages and ages and ages until they finally realize it's their new home base. You can buy trophy recipes at Glenna in each raid. Oh, really? Okay. Oh, my God, look. Mounts. Oh, and these are my mounts. Oh, this is cool. Okay, I was going to say, when I was playing Liz on my second playthrough, do you know what kind of bummed me out? That her mounts are amazing. I don't like that she's an Asura. I feel like I can't really play with fashion wars and stuff. But her mounts, guys, I have the coolest mounts, and they're dyed in the coolest ways. I'm sorry. And by the way, I put the new sky scale on her. Look at this fucking beast. I love... This has actually replaced the old one for me. This is default dyes as well. Oh, and it's got this heavy wing flap sound. The vroom, vroom kind of sound. Holy crap, I love it. All of her mounts I really love. And look, they're all here. And anyway, so yeah, you kind of just got me on that Sylvari. I think the whole thing where I wasn't using other mounts kind of ruined it. They're even doing idle animations and making noises and stuff. Yeah, and I've had this Warclaw, the Roman one. Look at the Armadillo. Can we reposition them? Are they technically decorations? I have the Orca Skimmer. You guys will be familiar with this. Look, do you know what? Well, actually, we can get a lot of cool details from their textures and things here. This is great. Okay, looking back at Path of Fire, you can actually hear me saying that one of the things that was unfortunate somewhat is once you got your mount, you could never dismount and like examine it and look at it. So they never really felt like their own entities. There's actually so much detail in these mounts. Okay, my turtle isn't that good. There's so much detail in these mounts that it feels like a real shame they're only like attached to the players. And there's so many of them now as well, you know. Like, I'm an advocate for putting these should be roaming around Janthir. It's a magically fucked up place. So let's do it. Let's put these around Janthir. Also, by the way, why is there a Coden riding this one in particular? That is cool. And what do you sell? Oh, you sell treats! Filled with all the nutrients a growing raptor needs. Double click to feed this to my raptor. Oh, and it gives me mastery XP every day. Oh, this was a POF thing though, wasn't it? Yeah, I don't know, man. Saddle crafting and endurance mechanics and feeding them and all that stuff. I love all that shit. And, I mean, look, it's very hard to criticize the Guild Wars mounts. Let's be honest here. There you go. I feed it the treat. It's very, you really, because they're so good. But in terms of, like, RPG systems, I think they missed the ball. So that's weird. I can't double click to feed it to my raptor. Do I have to ride my raptor? Oh, I do. There you go. And that's how we get it. So free mastery XP every day. That's weird that he didn't despawn, by the way, when I... Oh, and now he's standing on it. Oh, no, he actually has reins. Do we have reins when we're... Oh, we do. Oh, there you go. I think it just bugged. There you go. All right, so let's feed our Springer and our Warclaw. So these are like the 3 mounts of this X pack, I guess. So we'll feed our Springer. Nom, 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 nom. And then we'll feed our Warclaw. Oh, sorry. You must... What's that say? You must be out of combat or not have recently consumed... Oh, there you go. It worked that time. Nice. Okay, cool. The stable's like a huge hit for me. Oh, my lord. What else do we have here? Homestead Refinement Farm. I can refine 200 things a week. Oh, my god, my parsnips. I have 1 billion parsnips. I have an absurd number of parsnips. Can we refine those? Oh my god, I gotta find the icon though, and they're tiny. They're actually so small. Oh god. Onions, carrots, potato, bay leaf, strawberries. Oh, where are I? I bet it's a big number as well, because I bet if I'm overflowing with parsnips, other people are as well. So they whacked... Yeah, it's 28 per... Oh, well, whatever. Cool, so I can spend this meaningfully. I can only buy 75 of this item per account per day. Yes. What's it say? 74? Okay, yeah, I'm just going to spend all my parsnips. I'm not joking. All of them. Aha! I wonder what else I'm blown up on. It's a shame that I can't just instantly see that. Well, we'll look at that later. Oh, and here we've got all of our plant things. Is the Mistborn moat? Wow, it is. That's clever of them to have put that there. So obviously we can use the AoE reaping glyph. Don't buy it. You can upgrade the buildings so it uses less materials. It's fine. I'm not going to be crying over inefficient parsnip spending. They'll come flowing back in. Don't you guys worry. I don't know where it is I'm getting the parsnips from, by the way. Unlock collection boxes in the mastery line. So that's this last one. Unlock the ability to use journeyman handiworker crafting recipes and gain access to the collection boxes. What's the collection box do? Oh. Not sure. Then over here we have... I feel like they should have dotted some more moments of the main story in here and like had characters like deep in so that I actually came and saw this naturally as I was playing. Because I can imagine a lot of players won't and they'll miss out. Oh, this is clever. You put the mining nodes in the mine. Oh, well done, Janet. I like that a lot. That is good. It's kind of all completely undermined if there is an auto-gather system, though. And again, I'm looking at chat here. Is there an auto-gather thing? Why do I have it in my head that there's an auto-gather? The collection box is grab all my ores at once using X-Glyph. Oh, that's it. Oh, yeah. Oh, lame. So this is it. This is the only time I'm going to fucking do this, because next time I come here, I'll have my XP, and the most efficient thing to do will just be to go to the box, right? Oh, I really... oh, okay, I'm not going to get all ranty. I might not have the full understanding of the thing. But I don't like this thing in Guild Wars where it's like, do it once and that's it forever. Undermined. Oh, God. There is an auto-gather. That's the collection box. Yeah, okay. Alright, well, I'm going to enjoy going into my mine. Not that this is the most riveting thing in the world, you know, but... at the end of the day, I view it as lost value. Like, some of my friends were going on about the repeatable renown heart thing yesterday. Like, oh, isn't it... like, it's just pointless, boring tedium. Like, why would they ever put that in the game? But to me, it's not. It's like it's a reason to enjoy and explore the map for longer, you know? Like, my goal with Guild Wars isn't to log in one afternoon and then leave. And anything else is bad design, you know? Like, give it some staying power. And ArenaNet have a job cut out for them because they've decided you're not allowed to get better gear or whatever. You know, there is no gear treadmill in this game. So they have to do weird shit, basically. And then they have good ideas and they undermine them. The auto-gather gets you to do it every day. Look, yeah, don't get me wrong, alright? After 2 or 3 of these, I'd find it unbelievably tedious. But maybe there's a balance or something. Maybe we put a cost on it. Okay, you spend something at the auto-gatherer for the convenience. So now some players are doing it and some players aren't, you know. Shit like that. I don't know. And maybe they've done that. I don't know. Anyway, there you go. There's the mine with all the nodes. Like, think about this. The next time they add a home instance node that you can mine, some poor dev is going to come in here and put it in one of these corners, and basically no one's going to appreciate it or ever spot it or give a fuck, because they're just going to grab it from the collection box anyway. Like, they may as well attach it to the ceiling, and like 3 months later there'll be a Reddit post of someone saying, by the way, oh, speaking of which, weird thing I noticed in my second playthrough. What, you guys remember Ember Bay with the Rurik signet ring? It was in the game for ages, nobody noticed it. It was like hidden. I wonder... So here, I've got the AoE on this one. Okay, there's been a theme with this playthrough that I've been talking about. I love these stairs, these are really good. There's a thing that I've been talking about, and that's underestimating the game. Lots of times I've had low expectations, I've underestimated the game. So let me risk overestimating the game here. As I've played through, I've noticed like 2, 3, maybe 4 times out in the open world where there's been an odd fucking interactable that I can press F on. And it doesn't seem to do anything. Now, that might be a collection or a side quest or something I haven't played yet. I don't think so, though, because we've canvassed most of it. But, like, there's a weird rock you can pick up in one of the Gruul camps. And there's a pond you can drink from in the second map that poisons you. And, I don't know, do you guys know what they're for? It feels like there's some weird stuff. And, look, we can just say they're bugs. We can underestimate the game. We can say they're just bugs. They're leftovers, they're whatever. And there is a bit of weird bugginess with stuff like that, you know. Sometimes you've finished a collection and the character still has an icon, or they don't have an icon. So I don't know, but it feels like there's just a couple of strange... Have you guys noticed that? And is there a chance there's something hidden there? I don't know, what do you guys think? Well, there you go. So look, they put all the trees near the logging area. I genuinely think all the assets around here are very good. If you eat the rock, you get an achievement. Oh, okay, that is something then. Well, hold on, I pressed F on it, and it just... I don't think anything really happened when I pressed F on it. I must have had an opportunity then. Okay, so the rock you can eat. What about drinking the poisoned water? Troll camps have hidden achievements. Yeah, so by the way, guys, I found a whole type of event on my second playthrough where there's like trolls having a party, and you've got to like keep them calm. I went back and did that. You remember that? We were there very briefly. There was that hot spring achievement. Oh, it's my skiff. It's literally my skiff. I didn't even realise. Oh, that's cool. It kicked me off for some reason. I didn't actually ask it to do that. They did it like the mount thing. Oh, they put a lot of work into this. Oh, and here's the actual entrance with the door. Oh, and an Asura gate. Oh, shit. Does it work like a lobby? Where will this take me? Does it give me a pop-up? No, just a Lion's Arch. Lion's Arch and the Wizard's Tower. If that gave me a pop-up to, like, multiple places, oh, my God. Actually, that might... Oh, no, that would be fine. You can summon a door from anywhere. The cost of 2 loading screens. You can avoid a waypoint fee. Oh, yeah. I don't know. We can fish here as well, it seems. I did a tiny bit of fishing. I fished one thing up a cod, because obviously this is Liz and she has bait and stuff. But that's all just one cod. Overall, I'm impressed with this instance. I actually can't remember why we came here initially now. Was it just because I got the mastery? Oh, you can disable the cats. You can toggle them on and off. I forgot about this. The feline dispersing resonator. Oh yeah, and the water pistol thing as well. Oh, so now that that's off, will the cats come back to my house? Okay, and the mastery is what? It's opening more doors and things? There's no law books or anything, are there? I remember in the original instance there was one down here. It was the one of the cottage with the legs and all that shit. Sorry, the what? The Hollow Scepter storage case. Oh yeah, this is the thing. Wait, so what I was looking at a second ago then? They're like cat toys, basically. What was this? Oh, water pistol. Oh, nice. It's Mox. Yeah, okay. And with him, we can customize our music. I wonder if Arena will expand on that. They've done very well here. Look, I haven't done much of this in my playthrough, but I think it's fair to say this is one of the better parts of the expansion. So this Black Lion requisition teams post, this has all of my like choices, right? I think I'm getting parsnips because of my choice at the moment. I don't know what I've picked. But like every day you get a login reward based on what they're doing for you. Oh, we have the pinata here as well. Well, there you go. So there's a bit of a tour of my naked homestead. Like I said, I think the next episode will be the last one. So what I will probably do is see if I can get some decorating done here. But that leads me handily, actually, on to the next topic. I said I was going to do something, and I didn't do it. Despite all my gameplay, I did not gather the debris. So, this quest we were, like, stalled on the previous part. I'm still stalled on. I still haven't done it, but it looks like the event's right here. Thank God for that. So, here we go. I was going to sit here during the Q&A section. I'm in urgent. I need your help. Wait, are you not the event?
The oaf found some ancient writings I was researching. Convinced himself that they can be used to command the weather. Fool though he may be, his intentions are noble. Please, find him and make him see reason.
You should check out the end or the bottom of the mine a little more. Okay, well, when I go back to do that, I will. If you guys want to play with me, you're more than welcome. I assume this flips over into the debris event. So let's do it, I guess. So yeah, we were talking about masteries as well. The other thing that I've done with the mastery... Oh, we're in combat and I can't open it now. But yeah, I didn't just train the 2 homesteading things. But I also trained... like, honestly, I got so much XP, it's unreal. Do you know what I realized as well? On Liz, I have... Obviously, all my gear is set up really nicely. And my amulet, I can click and just toggle. Do I want gold? Do I want XP? Do I want karma? I put the 20% XP on my amulet. And a birthday booster. This whole series, I've had a birthday booster on this main, by the way. And the XP was insane, especially after doing an adventure. Adventures are so much, it's unreal. You guys should definitely do those. Like, even adventures you've done before, not just like a first-time bonus. If the daily's passed, do it again. And that was all I did. I haven't done any new adventures. I've saved those for these last episodes here. We're going to be doing some adventures in a second. We just have to defeat the enemy waves, but 13 minutes of it. Oh no, that's a time limit to defeat all the waves. I assume it's not going to be 13 minutes of this stuff. How's the audio right now, guys, by the way? Because ordinarily, this combat noise would be blowing your ears off. Like, check it out. I'm at max effect volume. But I think it's consistent, isn't it? Alright, there you go. The event's done. So is it going to roll over to debris now? Oh, apparently that finished our heart there as well. That's nice. Debris is a pre-event for Leviathan. Yeah, it is. And it's around here. Oh, maybe it's that one. Should we check that? I feel like they might go that way, though. We will be getting into lore very soon, guys. Don't worry. Lore stuff with the other playthrough. Oh, yeah, mastery. So, yeah, Lowland Coden. We already learned how to use bloodstone beehives. These were pretty lame and boring, to be honest. And we can buy cash keys. I've not really done any of that. But here, I also got this. I now earn additional renown when turning in renown tokens to the renown heart vendors. So this entire mastery rung pairs with their new daily heart thing. So they managed to get a mastery out of it. Again, I don't really know how I feel about the daily hearts. Like, I was looking at the achievements. You've got this whole section here. No, this is the...
hostile creatures before I could start painting. Artist I am. Fighter I am not, you see. Finishing my paintings and bringing them to me would earn my eternal gratitude.
This is the, this is not the right thing. This is just the painting event. But yeah, I don't know. So you got to do it 14 times in total. So 2 weeks worth. So if every day of this Let's Play I'd gone in and canvassed them, we would be done, like, right about now. I didn't do that, obviously. And, like, what's my reward? It's a Serpent's Wrath weapon box. There's a title for each one. That's Harvest Denizen, Elite Employee, Smells Fishy. I don't know. Titles don't do it for me. They got to be coloured titles. They got to have meaning. I don't think there's a title randomizer in the game, is there? And even still, I don't know. I'll tell you guys, it's the same in FF. It's the only time I ever really enjoyed titles was Guild Wars 1. When it was quite an early system, the UI wasn't very overloaded, it was very prominent and obvious what title people had. They had tiers baked in, clear ideas. I'm sure Guild Wars 1 titles would have got boring ultimately as well. I think what MMOs need, and if I was making my own like dream MMO, I'd do this. I'd have like player card systems and allow people to put as many... you know League of Legends badges, the new League thing where they have the... I think that's a really good idea. I'd give people their ability to customize their own player card, and you get badges on it or tokens on it that you can pin it in. And when you mouse over, that's like the title. In that way, at least you can get multiple titles at once, you know? But, so I don't know. And I don't like too much text on the screen anyway, so even in the best of cases, like Packed Flower, Omnivore there, I kind of don't like. Anyway, that's talking about titles. The rest of this is just random shit, so I don't know. Apparently there's lore and stuff. I'll try to look into that. And see if there's anything, because we can just get it off the wiki. It's a weird system, isn't it? It's weird. And it's a whole chunk of... So, like, I'm done with so much of this expansion now, but this... I've got a long way to go on those. A long way. So, yeah, this is just the painting event. Let's do a bit. Have I actually streamed this? I'm not sure I have. Oh, God. But where are they? I don't know where... There's one. There's an easel. So we press F, and you do the paint strokes. This is very similar to EOD. I like it when they reuse stuff like this, though, and get a bit of value out of it. As long as they don't do it too much. There's,
Impressive.
There's pumping the bellows as well is one of the heart activities here in this area, and that you'll recognize from Grothmar. I think it's all really good. Like they use the same UI and stuff. You get to see those icons again, which you might not have seen for like 3 years. That's almost exactly what FF did. Well, I know that FF has player cards, but it doesn't have multiple titles, does it? I like the idea of pinning the token thing. If you guys have played Modern League with their new reward thing, I think that they're onto something with that game. I think that's a really good idea. And, I would have different tiers of player cards as well. Like, the more titles you get, like Guam style, you can get a bigger card, which lets you put more shit on it, basically. Something like that? I don't know. I think there's something there. Yeah, they call it the adventure plate, don't they? They do. My adventure plate basically has my monk punching the camera, and then the comment on it is, I'm WoodenPotatoes. That's it. That's what my one is. And I did have one customized for all my classes, you know, when they pop up when you start a dungeon. I had it customized for all my classes, but if you change the way that you look at any point, like even toggling the headgear on and off, it breaks it. And I love toggling the headgear on and off. I have it, my headgear's on when I'm in combat and my headgear's off when I'm out of combat. Or the visor's up or the visor's down, and that breaks it. And that's like, oh, God. So I nearly always just use the defaults on that. All right, apparently the debris event is not going on. I have no idea how long we'll have to sit and wait for this. So in the meantime, what I'm going to do is shift us over now to you guys for a couple of comments. And again, most of the discussion on the previous part was about Isgarin and where we all as individuals feel about his character. And by the way, I had a couple of people saying it's a bit much to compare him to Smoder. And I think you're right. I think I'll walk back that. I think he hasn't been totally Smodified. I think just to put a cap on that, I think it's quite clear. And a lot of you guys expressed this as well, and I think you're all right. I think it's quite clear that the story journal is reflecting a version of the instance that did not exist. Like, they made something and they changed it. I personally think that they probably had a big fight planned, and maybe the cutscene didn't... You know, they have that pre-baked cutscene, and it looks like a weird cutscene, really, in the end, because there's not much action. Maybe they had a big fight planned in a cutscene, and that fell through, so then they rewrote a bunch of stuff. Or they just realised it would have been a weird story beat in its original iteration. They just never quite fixed the story journal. I don't know. So I think... And it's the story journal that angered me more than anything else. Or, you know. So I think, you know, actually just looking at the instance itself, the thing that the studio actually went with, I think, you know, it's not too egregious. It's not, there's no great crime that's been committed here. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys some lore here. This is comments from you, and it's lore from me, because I was taking screenshots on my second playthrough. Just some fun things to look back at. Now, I talked to people in Spud about this the other day. Remember in the first Lion's Arch instance? You go to Dougal's area, and he has a note next to him. And a niece has written a message to Dougal. And she's saying, hey, Dougal, can we use the Guild Initiative's headquarters for the Tyrian Alliance, our first meet? We don't really have a HQ. We need it on neutral ground. We can employ the Lion Guard as neutral defenders instead of having everyone standing armies and all this shit. Is that okay? And Dougal says yes, basically. But you get to read the message that Anise sent him. So this is Anise to Dougal. And she adds a little note for him at the bottom. She says, we've come a long way since the treaties, Dougal. I'm not known to daydream, but I wouldn't let Her Majesty hold council with a room full of ulterior motives and competing personalities if I didn't think the risk was worth the reward. I've woken up to too many mornings dreading of news of more death and destruction. I'm tired of it. Thankfully, everyone else is too. When the paragraph swirls before your eyes, dispersing like dye in water. Must be some sort of mesmer illusion. Whatever it says, this last part is for Dougal's eyes only. I look forward to a prompt and positive response, she says. So what the hell was this? By the way, yes, I just died in the background because you can't AFK for a second in Guild Wars 2 without an event or something spawning on you. And I got a tag. I just got bronze. That's ranger privilege right there. Holy fuck. That's my pet got me a tag for that event. That's nuts. Anyway, so yeah, when and then it swells away. So she has a private message for Dougal. What the fuck could she be talking about? So we see when CRE. Now, if you just say that out loud, it sounds like Krisha, doesn't it? And Krisha indeed is there. She's at the meeting. In fact, she's even standing quite close to Dougal. So perhaps Anise is saying, when Krisha gets there, can you pull her to the side? I want to ask her blah, 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 blah. But what could that weird secretive thing be that Anise, I thought I was on Spear there, wants to correspond with Krisha about? Such that she can't message Krisha directly? And what was it that called Krisha to the meeting anyway? So I think it's a Krisha thing. Obviously it might not be. We just get 3 letters of a word. That could be any word. I feel like the hand of the author is to guide you towards Krisha though. But what is that mystery? Feels like a setup for upcoming stuff. I don't know. Yeah, so yeah, there is this idea of like the Claw of the Carner. Like this is where why Dougal would get the message as well. It could be something like when Krisha arrives with Malice. I don't know. It's exciting though. I really want Malice to steal the Scepter of Ore and call herself Kana or something. I really want that to happen. But Anise is ahead of it, because Anise is always ahead of everything. I don't know, and she's got Dougal to do something in the meantime. I don't know. But even just the idea that this is a setup for something later, and guess what? Dougal is going to be a part of that something later, I love as well. Okay, there's another event. Is this debris? Let's check. Let's check real quick here.
My ward's name is Fervent Tempest.
No, this is the same thing. What the fuck? When's the debris come up? Oh, we really fucked up, didn't we, when we couldn't get that Leviathan pre. Oh, let's hope the Q&A bit is long, but not without me dragging it out, because I don't want to do that. Alright, okay, so there you go. So anyway, Mystery 1. Something to remember, looking back on the story. We're kind of in reflection phase, aren't we? Next, by the way, here's another little touch. It occurs to me again that there were all these comments about Jenna's father. Frode saying, I don't expect you to know much about the Coden, but we may find more allies throughout those lands. The Lowland Coden. And she says, my father spoke of them briefly. He left their territory untouched. Those are bonds I have not maintained. So one of you guys in the comments did basically say, look, WP, there might not be anything major about this. They're just using the king to explain why the Coden are so close yet untouched. But again, I found myself on my second playthrough thinking a lot about the king again. So I don't know. It felt like they were talking about him a lot. Something might have happened. I actually, to be honest with you guys, right in this very moment, I can't remember why I put that, why I screenshotted that. I might have had another thought at the time. Hey WP. Oh, this is somebody telling me about the £100, and again, thank you. That was to remind me if I'd otherwise forgotten. This one is... Oh, that's FF14. That's me... That's irrelevant, guys. We don't need to look at that. That's me unlocking... I fully tiered up Zoe's thing. Oh, debris is up. Leviathan has a 30-minute cooldown in this map, just so that you know. Oh, that's the debris up there. Ah. Ooh. Ooh. The crab. We can help the crab. Okay, so it's every half an hour you can do this. So instead of just doing the event, what we need to do is we need to grab this. Thank you to whoever just whispered me there. We need to grab this. Instead of taking it to the bucket, take it to the crab who's over by this rock. You picky bastard. Ms. Claus, the brains. You actually brought me a sample. Besides the fact that you can speak to me, there is something intriguing about you. Well worth the study. I don't remember the voice I gave this thing, sorry. I'm actually here about a fundraising opportunity. Don't be coy, biped. Do you think crabs don't hear rumors? Why am I getting nuked by a fucking drake? Just let me read, please. Okay, here we go. Calm. Fuck off. Okay. Jesus Christ. Don't be coy, biped. Do you think crabs don't hear rumors? I'll join the crew. I need new equipment anyway. Well then, I find Mrs. Jeeves down in the lowlands. Miss Jeeves, the criminal. Well, I suppose there are a few ways for a crab these days to make a living that don't... there are a few ways for a crab these days to make a living that don't involve being slowly boiled and served with butter. In the name of science. See you there. Oh, my lord. Okay, good. We've found all the animals Mr. Ribbington needs. So we're going to go back to Mr. Ribbington, and then we're going to take them all back to the first map, and I think the adventure's done. Like I said, we did the vast majority of the adventure in the previous episode, so that's fine. Okay. Oh, look, here's another great thing. When you're in combat, but they've already decided to leave. Do you know what? I'm going to put my pet to away. That might help. Okay. Right, next. Okay, here's another little mystery from my second playthrough. There was a document about the Tyrian Alliance looking into underwater cultures, undersea cultures, and they were looking at the Quaggan and the Lagos. And of course I was fascinated by the Lagos and was talking all about them. And I talked about Saya al-Rajid, and then you guys pointed out, no, remember at the end of the Norris meta in Secrets of the Obscure, there's another Lagos, so it's probably her. Blah, 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 blah. Lagos, Lagos, Lagos. Poor Quaggan. But look, there's a hint about the Quaggan here. We'd hoped to have better luck with the deep sea Quaggan, but our envoys were rebuffed once again. Truthfully, this is unexpected for that species. They're usually quite eager to volunteer themselves to larger causes. Whatever's going on down there must be quite serious and should not be ignored. So, I kind of glossed over this. One, because of the Lagos. 2, also though, because to me, exegetically, this is just them stalling for time, because it's not the underwater expansion yet. So we can't have the deep sea quaggan appear. I want to point out they can, and if they had done that, juggling those stories in that way is always very captivating, and you'll see FF do that a few times. But I think I just sort of read this as, oh, they just want to stall for time. But if we take this out, if we give it some real thought, okay, look, the quaggans are in crisis. There's something going on. Probably the deep sea monster Leviathan thing, maybe to do with Raisu Palace or whatever. Could be that stuff. And I never really retained or considered this, but let's just be clear: deep sea quaggan are in trouble right now, and I think that's a point all on its own, and it's worth just thinking about and lingering on. So there you go. Next, I played some Guild Wars 1 with Kerry yesterday. We did Saul in the bonus mission pack because it's a great thing. Like if I was producing this as an offline RPG, oh, we're in combat again. It's because these things are like Jacaranda, you know. Check the achievement. There should be one more animal to get. Well, maybe later, but there might be one more right towards the end. But all I have to do is go to Mr. Ribbington right now. Should we tag the Leviathan for 2 gold? Nah, it doesn't really matter. I'm coming all the way up here in the hopes that I'm safe. There we go. So, yeah, if I was doing this as an off-screen LP, you know, I would have done the Code and Lore blog post as at the start of one episode. I would have had some of the Season 3 cutscenes and moments in there. I would have had Hell's Precipice in there, and some of the glint stuff about the Messiah. I would have done it well. And one of the things I would have done is the bonus mission pack. So the bonus mission pack has you playing as Saul in the moments the Char are throwing their major offensive on Crater. The Flame Legion Char are attacking, and Saul, it's like desperate. Okay, so the manual and the website I read earlier in this playthrough, they all explain that Saul rose to become the leader of the White Mantle. He'd found his gods. He was a drunk. He found his gods. The White Mantle were there. And in both of those, they gloss over his death. On the website, Confessor Dorian just says, oh, that's a story for another day. And in the manual, they just hand-wave it saying, oh, he died to the Char. The White Mantle is saying he's died to the Char. They hand-waved his death. Years later, after Eye of the North, the bonus mission pack came out, and they fully explained his death. And so in this, you play as Saul. All the big White Mantle guys are there. It's really novel and fun because you're playing as White Mantle instead of against them. You're like evading Char patrols. The idea is the Char are going to win. Even though Saul is the leader of the White Mantle and he's found his gods, they've done nothing. And the Char are going to win. There's a huge offensive. So basically Saul and his friends go on a suicide mission. And it's like Thomas and so on. And I think Thomas is mentioned here in Janthir Wilds, by the way. Thomas, Hableon, Dorian, they go on this suicide mission up north. To basically this area of the world, by the way. They're really close to Janthir, and I don't think that's a coincidence. If the Massat were lingering around here, this Saul mission takes place like here. It's really close. So anyway, they go up, they try to attack the Char, but the point is, they're just going to assassinate the leaders, so that the army becomes disorganized, and they know that the entire army will bear down on them afterwards, but who cares, right? So you go in, you kill the leaders. There's a billion Char coming, and at that point, the Massat appear. And a couple of things about the bonus mission pack. The Massat appear not just to Saul, but everyone there. Hableon sees him, Dorian sees him, Thomas sees him. They all see him, plus a bunch of random White Mantle Knights see them. They teach Saul Spectral Agony. They call it their greatest gift, which I think we're going to learn is Mistburn from this expansion. I think it's probably the same thing. Anyway, so now you get to cast Spectral Agony on a bunch of the Char. You kill all the Char. It's like Wave Assault. It goes on and on and on. And then, after that, a bunch of White Mantle survived. And the Massat, there are 3 Massat there. It's Lazarus the Dyer, Optimus Caliph, who possibly wrote those Ember Bay things, and Mercia the Smug, who also has really had very little story. I wonder if they'll do something with Mercia. There's no Manakaz. But it's those 3 Massat. And once the Char are dead, all the White Mantle are alive. Saul's alive, everyone's fine. And then they just slay a bunch of the White Mantle. They just kill a ton of just normal people who are fighting for their country. A ton of White Mantle soldiers die. Just mercilessly killed by the Massat. I guess because they had revealed themselves and they didn't want them to any people really to know or something. I don't know. And then they abduct Saul, leaving just Hableon and stuff. And by the way, Saul Saul's expression in that cutscene is like super shocked and super surprised. So in Janthir Wilds, there's been a lot of stuff about the Golden Path, and there's this question. There's actually a really cool document in this where someone's saying, I don't know whether Saul knew about what was going on, but he's left us for dead. There's a question in Janthir Wilds whether Saul was complicit or not. I can tell you that in the bonus mission pack, he looks very shocked to have just had all of his friends killed and slain before him. He looks very, very, very shocked. So, so yeah, those are just some details. And on that note, let me. Okay, so the world map's kind of weird here actually, because I can't directly port anywhere I like. I have to leave. That's kind of clunky actually. That's kind of odd. QOL. Missing quality of life. Let me put it that way. Oh, by the way, in the live chat, someone said maybe that Dougal thing is related to how Krisha voted with the Scepter of War. That's an interesting thought. Okay, so here, check it out. There's a book. I don't think we read this. I found this on my second playthrough. I don't think we read this. Who knows how many ghost conversations we haven't seen, by the way? I kind of don't like that. I want to have 100% understanding of this fucking thing. Not like we see Secrets. But look, here's Inquisitor Thomas. I think he's in the bonus mission pack mission. Check it out. Record of Inquisitor Thomas. Most of this writing is worn, past recognition, few entries are legible. Now, I don't think that we read this. I think we missed this on our first run through. So the year is 1076. By the way, I love they call in the Colossus, the seasons. So this is Eye of the North. And I think Thomas is... Don't you fight Thomas in a side quest in Eye of the North or something? Anyway, I'm pretty sure this is Eye of the North era. So Saul's been gone for years at this point. But look, Thomas is still around. And here's what he says. He says, no sooner had the ink on my writ of exaltation dried that I was granted an audience with our hosts in the holy city. My unwavering faith has been rewarded at last. The last of my doubts washed clean from my eyes. The unseen were a marvel to behold. They were regal, daunting, and beyond comprehension. Their words hang on the ear as honey on a spoon, eloquence matched only by their golden visages. I must prove myself indispensable to our gods and to the twins. I will not fall short of the mark, caught out as my predecessor was. The eye sees only two kinds of sacrifices. The chosen, those bright souls destined for greater purpose, and the disgraced, who have failed to carry out the will of our gods and are found wanting. My former teacher, Inquisitor Adin, that's not Aiden, obviously, the main character from Guild Wars 1. Inquisitor Adin will be executed on the stone tomorrow. May his spirit do more for our saviors in death than his efforts amounted to in life. There's so much here, guys. Because look. Okay, hold on. Let me do something real quick. Oh, so we had a donation. We had one earlier as well. I missed it, and I... Hold on. RPG Crash, dude, with the 10 Australian dollars. Thank you very much. You didn't leave a comment. Thank you for that, dude. And meanwhile, down below, P just said, I've been enjoying your old story streams while watching Guild Wars 1 recently. Playing like Heroes of Might and Magic with Toolbox for this quality of life. And it really is incredible after all this time. Thanks for all the noise and thoughts. Thanks, man. Yeah, are you who mentioned this the other day on Discord? I really think if you get like a podcasty... I mean, I think Guild Wars 1 can be pretty dry and slow. Having my... I'm going to promote my own stuff. But I seriously do think having a Let's Play to listen to alongside it is really nice. I actually was looking at speedruns of Prophecies the other day. Someone speedrun Prophecies from like nothing in like 5 hours or something, and he's got one long video. You could just watch the whole thing in 5, which is pretty cool. But he skips all the cutscenes, so I like the idea of a single video on Prophecies, like a long play. He did the same for Factions, and it was even shorter. It was like only a few hours, I think. Anyway, all right, back to this. So let me go to the Guild Wars 1 wiki. Let me look up Thomas. Sorry. Oh, he's not in Guild Wars 1. I'm thinking of someone else. Okay, never mind that then. So here's the thing. So we can ignore that element of it. Okay, so check this out though, right? What this is dated 1076. This is after the original Titan crisis. Vizier Kilbraun opens the door in 1072. The Titans wipe out a bunch of Masat. The player characters wipe out a bunch of Titans, presumably some... and the idea at that point is the Masat are basically dead and gone. The idea at that point is they're not around. There's a couple, like Mabon or Lazarus, who hid himself into his aspects. Maybe Dada is out there, people who ran really far away. But the majority of the Masat are dead. Most of them are dead. Activity is at an all-time low after the door is opened. Now, the players come through and wipe out the Titans. In Eye of the North, you learn a bit about Lazarus. And in the War in Kryta, you find some Masat are still around and you wipe those out. But check this out here. So this must be around the War in Kryta, probably, I guess. I don't know. What's the timeline exactly? But at this point, there is still White Mantle up here doing sacrifices on the Bloodstone. The whole time throughout this series, I was thinking that these sacrifices had happened before the Ascalonian refugees came over the mountains. But no, it's actually still happening. And what does he say? He says he gets to go to the Holy City. Now, he might be lying. I'm wondering if he's lying. I don't know. But he says, I was granted an audience with the Masat in the Holy City. This guy went to Barbanissos, and he's actually recounting his experience there. The last of my doubts washed clean from my eyes. The unseen were a marvel to behold, daunting beyond comprehension. Their words as honey on a spoon. I love that ArenaNet are writing this at this point, because we've heard Lazarus speak and stuff. You'd think they might, like, sort of step away a bit of the whole melodious voice thing. But no, they're sticking with it. Consistency to the end. It's really good. I must prove myself indispensable. And so here we get a nice little detail as well about the Eye of Janthir. We only ever really saw it scanning Chosen. But here they're saying, look, the Eye, if the Eye finds you willing or whatever, if it doesn't like what you've done, if you've failed to carry out the will of the gods, of the Masat, it will be pissed off. So, by the way, that for many years there's been this thing, like, just because the Masat had the Eye, didn't necessarily mean it was doing their bidding. It could have just been a tool for them, you know, that they just had. But now it kind of seems like the Eye really is a thing that's working for the Masat. I mean, maybe Season 3 kind of talked about that a bit. It's interesting to think it was watching Epoch die. But yeah, so... two kinds of sacrifices. The Chosen, those are the bright souls destined for greater purpose. And the Disgraced, who have failed to carry out the will of our gods and are found wanting. And Aiden will be executed because he was found wanting. Really cool, isn't it? I don't know if I've missed more of these, because this is just an interactable. This is not a part of the quest. You know, a history most violent. And what about more ghosts? There were some ghosts. You know, there's a freaking Masat ghost out there. So I don't know whether I can try and compile some more of these. But they're pretty cool, aren't they? I think, anyway. Thomas is a guy you finish off in Slave at Exile. Is that what I'm thinking about from Eye of the North? I'll trust Mike on that, because he did Slave as Exile very recently. They're pushing the twins way too hard for two ghosts that died a long time ago. Well, unless they're like... I mean, the thing is, the idea that Decima and Greer are the twins doesn't really work, because we see their ghosts. And wouldn't they be Titans at this point? Would their ghosts still be around? I mean, Guild Wars lore can be kind of weird about souls and ghosts and stuff. I think in Core in 2012, they talk about how your body can be reanimated by Zaitan without a soul in it, and you find someone's soul far away from the body. So do the twins' bodies go on to be the Titans? But I don't think it's that, guys. I think the Greer and Decima are like shards of Ura. I think Ura is massive and has been feeding on Bloodstone for years. And I think when you're a Titan, what do they call them, Blightspawn or whatever? When you're one of the fragments, when you're not a progenitor, that's what they said, right? I think there's a chance a fragment can become a progenitor. They're like a family or something. I don't know. That stuff I'm not so cut up about, because I'm very confident in 3 months we'll get tangibles on. Okay, a little thing about Isgarin on my second playthrough. All right, again, I'm not going to labour the point, but we're talking about how Isgarin's written really weirdly in this this expansion, and very different to Secret of the Obscure. He's written impulsive and irrational, and quick to act and all this shit, which is not how he's treated in Secrets of the Obscure. In the previous episode, I focused a lot on the final instance, and I talked a little bit about the Scepter of Ore decision. But actually, the first instance, when you get here to Janthir, the game takes a fuck ton of shots at Isgarin, such as this one. This is the commander speaking. The commander says, if you're talking about Isgarin, I think we both know better than to assume he's rational. I hate that line. And it's the same thing as at the end. It's, he's hyper-rational. It's not nice that he holds his army off and only arrives at the final hour at the end of Secrets of the Obscure. It's not nice. It's not honourable. But it is rational. His rationality is the defining thing about him. It's not friendly or comfortable, and he's not personable, but he is rational. Like, everything he does is rational. Rational on a timescale you as a puny mortal don't think about. And I don't like this weird thing where the game's like, the commander's perspective as a short-lived thing is the right one, you know? I don't know. It's just that thing. When the commander speaks, it's a bit more aggravating. Anyway, I just wanted to point out, and there's a couple of weird bits like that in that first scene at the start of Janthir Wilds, but yeah, let's not go in circles. Here we have another interesting mystery. I didn't pick up on this at all. There are actually a couple of things in this story as you play along where the Lowland Bearkin, they say there's dangerous shit in Janthir. Like, they say the first time they see a stranger, the first time they see a Titan, they don't even worry about it. There's a line in there. That's not the quote I've got on screen. But they basically say, yeah, we saw some Titans, but we see a lot of big, dangerous shit in Janthir. Janthir's wild. There's scary stuff. It was only when it started rotting the land and corrupting the landscape that we realized it was something worse and something really bad, and we have to deal with it. Because, you know, these guys still care about balance and equilibrium with the environment and all that. So they didn't care, really, that they'd seen something as massive as a Titan. Later, check this out. Liz says, was this Pokey's first ever fight? Because he gets injured against one of the Titans. He breaks his leg or something. And Liz says, was this his first fight? Against something of that scale, at any rate. And by the way, I love the commander saying this, because the commander's losing perspective, having fought all these dragons and gods and shit. And Stoic says, so that it's an afterthought. Oh, of that scale. It's like the commander doesn't even think about the small fights anymore. I love that. Anyway, Stoic Order says, of that scale, no. It was not Pokey's first fight against something of the scale of a Titan. It is not. He's fought shit as big as Titans before. And he says, with distance and time, he'll come back to us with a clear head. It's not his first fight. So, I didn't pick this up before. I think, guys, ArenaNet are going to have some cool enemies in Barbanissos. I think we're going to see more of Samarog's species. Obviously, the Massart used Samarog as a sort of prison guard for Saul. That's a crazy, massive fucking beast thing. What if stuff like that wanders around? What if the Lowland Coden have been fighting Samarog-esque things for a while? And it's been a popular theory in the community that Samarogs, whatever their species is that a personal noun? Is it a species? Who knows right now? It's been a popular theory that there might be a lot of them. Remember, he's got all those spears with the Eye of Janthir on them. Like, his spears, are, you know, the triangle heads have the eyes on them. So I think that we could see that. And I love Samarog, and I'll happily see some more. They might even reuse Samarog in the raid/convergence and stuff. We've seen in raids, like with the Keep Construct and later the Conjured Amalgamate, they kind of reuse... Well, is it fully reused? I don't know. But I think it's a good idea. Next. Okay, finally, just because I think this is really... Okay, two things I just want to say, I want to make very clear. I don't want to be buried in the middle of other conversations, okay? For this Let's Play. Thing number one. How can I get Liz to... say one? Oh no, point. Thing number one. You, listen. I want to be clear that not all Titans came from the door of Kamali. We've mentioned this. I want to mention it very pointedly here. So, like, I was reading, in my second playthrough, this book. Oh my god, Liz didn't actually finish this heart. Holy shit, she almost did, but she didn't. This heart is a bitch, by the way, guys. You just have to hope for certain events. Let me see. Let's kill this mower over here. Let's cast an empowered meteor on it. It didn't do anything. Oh, there we go. Honestly, the quality of life I've got on this build at the moment with the Alacri and stuff is so nice. Okay, I was rereading the Charred Association, okay? And we talked about this briefly before. But in this book, they go on to talk about the very first Char to see a Titan. This young girl that kind of gets ignored because the Flame Legion at that time are like total misogynists and they don't really respect or appreciate their opinions. So she's like, there's Titans, and it's only later that they finally realise. So let's just be very clear. Let's point at the camera. Yes, Kilbraun released Titans from the Fire Island chain through the door, but prior to that, the Char had already been worshipping them. The Char had already got the power of the Searing Cauldron. The Flame Legion were already building flame effigies. When you start Guild Wars 1, you're fighting against Char that are building effigies of the Titans. The Char, way before the door even opens, are interacting with Titans. So, it is very possible some kind of Titan manufacturing plant, like the Foundry of Failed Creations, is somewhere on Tyria. It doesn't have to be in Abaddon's realm. It could be in Bavanis. There could be one in Bavanissos. Someone has made Titans at some point that are unrelated to Abaddon's prison. Either that, or there was another moment we never knew about where the door was open briefly. Maybe some escaped before the Messar initially built the Door of Kamali. Oh, sorry, I should be pointing here, I guess, I don't know. But there's a story to be told about Titans that have leaked out or been made somewhere, somehow. And with all of that in mind, I think we're going to get an answer to that, okay? I want to be very clear that these are not the only Titans. Potentially. There's another bit to the story, and ArenaNet remembers and knows that bit of the story. Because it's referenced here in this book. As a writer, you can't write this without having thought about the fact there are multiple Titan areas. So yeah, that's one thing that I just want to be clear. It's very easy to say, oh, the Titans came from the door. Not all of them. Okay, so then also, here's another thing that I just want to be really clear about. Waiting Sorrow's history. It's kind of all in this one book. I think this book is amazing. So this is when Frode... You basically lie to Frode and say... He's like, oh, who healed Pokey? What? These guys don't like magic. So who healed Pokey? And Waiting Sorrow did it. And the commander's like, Like, the commander hand waves it. And Frode, like, plays dumb. He basically... So someone was talking to me about this in the comments. Yeah, it's pretty clear that Frode knows you're lying already at that point. He knows that you're protecting Waiting Sorrow. So he kind of plays dumb. And he says, oh, right, okay. He basically realizes you've got Waiting Sorrow. And he says, do you know what? Go read this book. And he takes you to Isgaren's journal. And this lays out really nicely their history. And I just want to read it again. So Isgaren is reflecting on the fact that Waiting Sorrow has left them. He says, Waiting Sorrow has left us. She left a note. She left Dagda a note. See, there's some bitterness there straight away. Waiting Sorrow didn't even message anyone else. Just Dagda. Which is horrible, really. After all these years. Anyway, I must be swift. Should Isgaren catch on to my plan before I'm able to depart? And he says, what am I? A creature of nightmare? Do they writhe when I speak? Do they flee when I move? And then we get the crazy quote. The court is quiet today. Dagda fled to the observatory. Mabon is disappointed with my reaction. Perhaps screaming until I opened a portal to the domain of anguish was a tad ostentatious. And I didn't know how to take that. I think we take this literally, guys. I think, yeah, he flipped the fuck out. And I think our ignorance has to play into this a little bit. There's more going on here, potentially. But I kind of get it, in a way. Again, it's this thing where it doesn't feel totally consistent, but again, this is hundreds of years ago. He might not have leveled out fully, you know. He might not even be fully leveled out at this point. But yeah, so anyway, he says, the emotion that lingers at the pit of my stomach is repentance, mostly. Now, this is quite cool. I think that in my series here, in the conversation we've been doing, we've been looking back at this like he's a hothead and he's really angry and stuff. But actually, look, how does he feel about this, really? He repents. He's sorry for it. He feels bad. He blames himself. Like, I've had people saying that he's incapable of self-reflection. Like, what are you talking about? So the emotion that lingers at the pit of my stomach is repentance, mostly. Sorrow is simply a harbinger of my prior mistakes. He says, my negligence. When she came to me, goodness knows, well before the gods doomed this place. I love that. Why does he think the gods doomed the place, by the way? For fucking with the Bloodstone? I guess that's what he means. He probably is saying, look, we Seers had a plan. We built the Bloodstone. Yeah, the dragons are going to wake up, and they're going to eat all the magic, and it's going to be like the Dark Ages for a while, because there's not going to be much magic. But it will slowly seep back, and new civilizations will keep... It's a headache, but that's it. We've sorted it. And then the gods come along and fuck with the Bloodstone. And I think he's saying that. That's my read of that. He's saying, since they doomed this place. And I never talked about that last time we read this. Anyway... long before the gods doomed this place, I saw someone struggling and I chose to help her. She was a voice on the verge of Coda's rage. Who knows what she would have done if I hadn't ascended her and severed the connection. Sidoni never thought of me the same after that. I imagine my saving sorrow was the final straw before exile. He gets exiled over this. To save an innocent fucking Codan going mad. I've often thought of my choice as naive, and at other times I've wondered if the elder races were too protective of magic. And I think he would think of it as naive, because as far as I can make out from the timeline, this is all after the Eparch stuff as well. This is he took a punt on Eparch, it went really badly. He took a punt on her, and he's thinking, is this naive? And at other times I've wondered if the elder races were too protective of magic. But I turned her immortal. I guess I gave her access to immense power to save her life. And he says that shouldn't have been my choice. Because he's kind of playing at being a god here, and I think the thing is, he doesn't like that. I let her roam on her own for a long, long time, and again, because he does this way before the court and everything. Then he founds it all with Mabon and stuff, and then she and Vass join up later. So she's just this Codan wandering around doing her own shit. She's very independent. And when I saw how powerful she'd become, I couldn't let her go again. She knows this. She's grown more and more unpredictable over the centuries. She claims to see flickers of her life before Ascension. Coda breaking in? Who knows? When the Codan split between Janthir and Or, I could tell it bothered her. Oh, give us details on this. I really want to hear more about this. I could tell she yearned to help her people when they were clearly splitting apart, but she's a figure of a fable now to them. What if she were to reveal herself as the missing voice to their ancestral claw? The claw that determined the fate of all Codan when he moved them to safety. She'd cause riots. They're fragile enough. I need time to think about my next steps. I think it's a really great journal. An actual highlight, I think, of the whole expansion, really. They get a lot of details in there. You know, actually, this is very nerdy and very sad. This is quite pathetic, but last night, you know how your head wanders when you put your pillow down before you fall asleep at night? I was thinking how cool it would be if ArenaNet still did short stories about the game. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be really cool if they had done a single short story about that moment Isgaran finds Waiting Sorrow, and she's going crazy, and he sort of helps her from that and gets himself exiled. I feel like that, as a very, very short like snippet, a little glimpse, I think would have been really cool. And I think another really cool short story would have been the moment, there's a moment she alludes to when she finds the Lowland Codan. It's very brief in Janthir Wilds, but she comes here and she basically says, look, we were all sitting around a campfire, and I felt really connected to the Codan for the first time in years and years and years. That's why I've stayed with you. It's just this really lovely idea of like the moment she finally found like she had a home again. And I feel like there's a good short story out of that as well. These are events that happened hundreds of years ago. There's not really a feasible way or a budgetary way for ArenaNet to put it in game, but a short story could do those beats. And yeah, I was thinking about it as I was falling asleep. And I had myself convinced I could write one myself. I was like, oh yeah, I'll write it and I'll put it on stream. And then I realised, oh god, no, I'm not getting to this point where I'm doing fan fiction. I'm probably a terrible writer. But yeah, so anyway, it's a good part of the story, I think, and worth looking back over. And I hope ArenaNet give us at least some more tangibles about why he gets so angry about this Coda stuff, which we'll run into in a second. So, a couple of comments from you guys now. That's my reflections on my second playthrough. A couple of questions. Foghorn says, something I've not seen discussed anywhere are the Dulux pre-purchase items that came with Janthir Wilds. I find it curious that we have Whispering Serpent Pauldrons, Eldritch Gathering Tools, basically tentacle-themed items, and a serpent-themed weapon set. There are no serpents or tentacle monsters in the expansion so far. Is this an indication of where the story's heading? Do we expect a serpent tentacle monster at some point in the future? Or is this just an aesthetic that ArenaNet was desperate to include in Janthir Wilds for some reason? If it's the latter, it's an interesting choice, however. If we're to expect a tentacle monster, would this lead to an Underwater Lagos expansion? And if it does, how does it link into the Janthir Wilds current tie-in story? The fact that the Pauldrons are two serpents whispering, are we likely to have another release sometime that feels like Icebrood Saga Whispers in the Dark? So many questions. This has come up several times over the years. Like, do the gem store skins, basically, let's be real, correspond. And sometimes they do. Sometimes they just feel like wild cards and like irrelevant. I've had a lot of moments playing through this where I've seen like skin rewards and stuff. Like even just now when we were going through the achievements, you know, it feels like a lot of it's unrelated, or they had the models made for other releases, or I don't know. I personally am not very excited about speculating along those lines, but I can see why it might be interesting. I just don't see how it connects really. We've got enough going on, you know. But yeah, it's a good thought, and I wanted to showcase it. You guys can obviously bounce off of it. Here we've got something not really related to Guild Wars. It's on the Dark Souls thing. Just because I'm interested in this. This is just selfish indulgence from me. So this is the guy that said about environmental storytelling. So let's just hear about it. Time to rant more about Souls. My previous comment on Souls highlighted one aspect of it. Piecing together ancient history in a place long forgotten, abandoned and ruined. But there are more aspects that form the story in those games. What the person meant by... Oh, sorry, this is a separate person. What the person meant by amazing environmental storytelling is you can get lore and dialogue from items, while the environment around it strengthens the whole picture, ideally. And I think Guild Wars does this, by the way. An example from Dark Souls 1 would be you visiting a city where the gods used to live, alongside humans and giants. And a staircase leading up to a cathedral has two sizes of steps. One very small for humans, one bigger for giants. There's no comments on that in-game, and your interpretation of the environment can map neatly onto other, more objective information you got. Another example of this would be in Elden Ring, where you see a statue of the god Marika all over the place, but in a specific region, all of the statues are beheaded. Again, Guild Wars does stuff like this. There's a bucket over, like, Balthazar's head in POF, remember? Or you see an enemy linked to a faction using a specific spell from a region, allowing you to get more context out of the enemy. Then we have relatively simple quest lines with often unpredictable or dark and tragic endings. In Dark Souls 1, you find a guy stuck in a barrel. You rescue him. He offers help with pyromancy, fire spells, in return. You later find a cool fire spell and happen to get it back to that NPC to talk to him about it. He mentions it and asks you where you found it. You can tell him or withhold the information. Considering the only interaction you have with NPCs is pressing F on them to start dialogue, or sometimes replying yes or no, this limit means you can't ask them any relevant follow-up questions, meaning you have to make the decision with very little context. Considering you like him and he's interested in this new spell, you might tell him. He goes off on his own to search and goes mad, attacking you on sight when and if you next see him. Your friendly interaction with him leads to you having to kill him. All of this is miserable, by the way. Missable, sorry, by the way. Obviously, that all sounds cool, and this is the bit about Guild Wars that I think was... And that's interesting to me, and I love those stories, thank you. But here, obviously, all that sounds cool and creates an experience that many people will say is greater than the sum of its parts. And it is cool when it works well. However, as many have discussed before, and is an issue with Guild Wars 2, the issue with FromSoft games is that if you think logically about your interactions with the world, you would be asking all kinds of questions to all kinds of people. The fact you can't is a writing problem in and of itself, but there's an aspect of the storytelling that I absolutely hate, and that's that there's so many things vague or left open. So vague and so open that I think the storytelling suffers. And as I said, major events cannot be placed in a timeline. Motivations of characters are often not clear, and sometimes lore contradicts other parts of the game, which means mental gymnastics to figure it out, or accepting the story is bad in that instance. And a lot of this resonates with me here. It's as if you can't get enough pieces of the puzzle, and some pieces are from a completely different puzzle. This is often positively summed up by the community as, well, you can bring your own interpretation to it, but I hate that kind of excuse. It's the fans writing the game for the devs. I want the writers to tell a decent story. Not only that, but the interpretation thought process allows fans to wave away a lot of legitimate criticism. Let's not also forget that what I described above might not appeal to people at all. Maybe you don't want to read the descriptions of the items you pick up. There's a meme, but it's real in the Souls community, that whenever a new game drops, people say, I didn't understand anything, I'll just get the story from a YouTube video. If most of your audience doesn't even want to engage in the first-party product, does that count as a good story? This is what I meant when I said I get wary people comparing anything to Dark Souls. What part of the game do you think of when you say that? Do we even agree that that part is a good thing storytelling-wise? I think that in Guild Wars 2's case, they have to be very careful of how to tell their story and what lessons they want to learn from other games. If we're going to get the vague interpretation route, I'm out. I love the Soul games and I love Guild Wars 2, but it's fine to criticize the product. We can do both. It is very tricky. I love this comment. I think it really digs in and quite eloquently explains a lot of the seesaw and how tricky it is, obviously, for Arena to balance the kind of storytelling that they have. And this is really good, I think, because, you know, I, as the player, just read Isgaren's journal. And I don't have much sympathy for Waiting Sorrow coming out of that journal. And I have quite a lot for Isgarin. But the commander may not have even seen some of the puzzle pieces that I've seen. So how does ArenaNet write that? It's hard enough to write a silent protagonist or a protagonist that has to be malleable to thousands of different people in the real world, but also the in-game races and dispositions. That alone is hard enough, let alone now not even really knowing which pieces of the puzzle the commander has. Do we assume that the commander is fully informed at all times? I think the writers have to guess what they think the majority player base opinion is going to be and make the commander's thought that. I don't know. This is just another reason to have the commander as hands-off as possible in the story, frankly. Save some money and headaches and time with the voice acting while they're at it. I don't know. What a great comment, though. Next. And like I said, there's not many comments. Most of us were just talking about Isgarin. So we got this. There's like one more after this, guys. Pablo says, this in the previous episode weirdly made me think of the whole Tyria being special. To me, End of Dragons wasn't clear whether Suwon was a mist creature that created Tyria, or she was an original creator of everything. In the first scenario, I'm not sure why Tyria would be special. If she was the ultimate creator, then Tyria is the beginning of everything and the mists, and they're just a fragmented echoes of Tyria. Given that there could have been hundreds of dragon cycles, multiple civilizations have faced annihilation or escaped the mist. Those who escaped always kept an eye on Tyria, hoping to return. Now with dragons gone, it's possible for them. Therefore, it's not really correct that everything on Tyria came from the mists. On the contrary, everything in the mists originally came from Tyria, though possibly evolved and changed a lot. Sorry if this idea was already discussed earlier, but this really bugged me in the End of Dragons. And I responded, and I said I think it's definitely the first one. Suwon was a mist creature that stabilized the stuff she found at Tyria and allowed it to exist. Maybe the stuff she found is what makes it special. Yeah, I didn't even realize people were getting this interpretation. But look, I do not think that End of Dragons suggested Suwon made everything. She didn't make the entire multiverse. She didn't make the Rift and the Hall of Heroes and all the fractals and all that shit. She didn't make all of it. She was a mists entity of some kind. An essence, let's say. An anima. An essence is kind of the word that they're going with in the sequence. And she found this place in the mist that was just chaotic swirling energies. It was nothing. And she managed to stabilize it from the void. And that is what caused Tyria to create. She is the ultimate creator of Tyria. Of this realm. Of this dimension. Okay? That's what she's not. But the mists may have many dimensions like this. Many entities like her. The gods could be similar to her. They've probably stabilized somewhere else and made their own place. So yeah, it all starts with Suwon for this realm, but not everything. I think End of Dragons was pretty clear about that. So then to go forward, Janthir Wilds is now saying that Tyria is special. So what was the special thing that Suwon did that's made all these other things interested in this dimension? I don't know. Like I proposed in that comment, maybe it's just that the shit she stabilized was special in some way. I mean, there was a reason it was unstable in the first place, right? So maybe that's what ArenaNet will go on to talk about. But I have to say, this complete reverse idea that Tyria is the be-all and end-all and everything else in the mist is just echoes of it. And it feels like you're kind of getting led astray by world versus world lore a little bit there. But this thing that everything else is an echo, it's kind of awesome. I love that idea that there are thousands of cycles and they're all just seeking to come home. And this is the ultimate home. That's a fun idea. I've never thought of the lore in that way. I don't think that's the situation that we're in. And that's the kind of thing, by the way, that I don't want to be in this murky half and half thing. I think we should have very tangible ideas about like core tenets of the franchise. So stuff like that I'd rather not be vague. Okay, now speaking of Suwon creating Tyria, let's go back to Cossage's idea and Coda. So back to the blog post with the Codan. They have this little bit about the Codan's belief of the world. This is not fact. This is what the Codan believe. Ready? They say that long ago, Coda, the Ancient One, founder of the earth, keeper of the sky, formed the world. In the beginning, the spirits of the world were wild and untamed. In time, many took physical forms. Spirits of stone, spirits of water, spirits of wind, spirits of soul, spirits of plants and birds and creeping things. All things with form have spirits, as do many formless things. And this is kind of a slight tweak on what the Norn believe with their spirits. But one day, the bear stood up and looked around him, and he saw that the spirits of the world were restless and chaotic. He could not understand the endless cycles of creation and destruction, kind of an allusion, I guess, to the Elder Dragons. And so Bear was the first creature to speak, and with his first words he asked Coda, "Why is this so?" And Coda was pleased, and made this offer to the bear. "If you would watch and learn, then watch and learn, and you shall protect and guide the spirits of this world." And those who praised Coda and accepted this offer became the Codan, and those who were not ready and did not wish to change remained as bears. So that's their thing. Now, you can read this as... Okay, so we have the Suwon stuff. So you could say in ancient past, maybe there's a chapter of this story in which Suwon interacted with progenitor Codan, like millennia ago, and the true facts have kind of been warped, and they think of it as a god bear now. But the true story is they met Suwon, and Suwon kind of used these guys as allies and watchers and judges to a certain extent, as her own children were growing, as the Elder Dragons were growing and stuff. And after enough millennia, the story kind of twisted to their own egos, and and it became Coda. That's kind of my interpretation of it. That it could have been like a Suwon connection. Obviously, I think this lore was written before Suwon was conceived of, but now that it's all there, that's what I would kind of say of it. You could also look at Coda as a separate thing, and that Suwon and Coda worked together to make the world. And why is this interesting? Because the wriggle here is the rage of Coda. What are the voices doing? The voices of the Codan open themselves to the mists to find guidance. They're opening themselves to the mists. Now, everything Secrets of the Obscure and Janthir Wilds has told us is the things in the mists are fucking scary, generally speaking. Or devious, or you know, idiots. You know, you can look at the gods and how reckless and destructive they were. Not everything from the mist is benevolent and nice. Suwon, I suppose you might consider that. But there's a lot of dangerous shit in the mist. And what are the voices doing? These Codan, for thousands of years, have developed this practice where some of them deliberately make themselves vulnerable and open to entities in the mist that speak to them. And they call that entity Coda. So Coda is probably a real thing. But is it a demon masquerading as their bear god? Right? Like, is it... Is it another of these houses that Eparch just never managed to recruit, for example, or whatever? It feels like they could be getting manipulated. But the thing is, right, Codan, through all these years, they've clearly got some value out of it. The voice clearly is doing something good. It is translating into good leadership with the claw. It's worked out. They've continued the practice. If they were just instantly going mad and dying, and it was not a functional way of leading, it would not have lasted. So there probably is a benevolent entity, or a weird entity at least, that has been guiding these things. And it's not Suwon. It's something else. So maybe Suwon plus this thing. Now I'm not gonna call it Coda. They call it Coda. They see it as a bear. I think it's very clear that that's just their interpretation on things because they're arrogant and they're egotistical, just like we as humans are. When we think about Yahweh or, you know, the Abrahamic God or whatever, we think of a human, right? It's the same thing with these guys. But this entity, which we'll tentatively label Coda, I think probably is real. Did it have a hand in making the world? Was it responsible for the chaos before Suwon got to it? I don't think it's a coincidence that this story is all about the Codan suddenly, and Waiting Sorrow, and the madness. So finally, yeah, these bears go mad. There are these times of trial. What is that? Waiting Sorrow was an important voice. She was starting her time of trial. It was probably going to kill her, as it kills a lot of Codan. A lot of voices die. And Isgarin ascended her in the middle, severing it. And that, for the most part, kept her... I mean, he made her immortal, and that, for the most part, kept her alive. But the Seer Ascension is not perfect, and things are creeping back in. And she's learning something. That connection with this entity is still there in Waiting Sorrow. Now that is a cool fucking story. That is a really cool story. That's like the core of this, I think. Unfortunately, none of it exists in the main voice-acted cutscenes and dialogue and stuff. I don't know. They got work to do over the next 3 patches. I hope to see this come forwards. So yeah, and also just the end of this here. They say the Codan venerate Coda, the founder, above all else. They believe that all beings are fated to come back again and again, but each time reborn as members of the same race. So here they talk about reincarnation, which I think is interesting because very little of the actual Guild Wars 2 story has ever gone into this element of the blog post. They come back. There's some sort of spiritual purity maintained throughout reincarnations. But when you think about the rage of Coda is killing some voices, and they come back cleansed. Anyway, humans come back as humans, Char return as Char, Codan come back as Codan. Only when you're greatly enlightened do you advance, in their view. And you get reincarnated as a member of the next race in the balance. Of course, the Codan believe they are the most spiritually enlightened, and that as at the top of this reincarnative food chain, it is their duty to watch over the world, judge others, and maintain the balance by force if necessary. So this is what the Codan think, but again, this is entirely what the Polar Codan think. Now let's remember, now on my second story playthrough, this is made so abundantly clear. The Lawkeeper in the council chambers is telling this story. 10k years ago, the Claw without a voice comes down. They've been abandoned by Waiting Sorrow. And he says, fuck it, I'm coming here anyway. They live here for a minute, then they split again. Half go to Ore. Eventually, they die, they become the mouths of Zaitan, whatever. These guys were very judgmental. But after these guys died, they were like, okay, we'll relax now. What is the story here? This reincarnation thing, the Codan think they're the most enlightened, they're always going to go ascend, they're at the very top. If you're a Codan and you think that, Codan are at the top of the food chain, and then the gods arrive on Tyria at Ara. If you're a Codan and you're a really honest Codan, and you're thinking about hierarchies in nature and who's at the top, and suddenly you find yourself on a planet with the gods, surely some of those Codan are going to say, all right, I don't think we're at the top anymore. Surely some of them are going to say, do you know what? The gods are at the top. We listen to their judgment. Bye. I think that's what the fracturing is. That's my theory now about why they fractured. And I think the other Codan that still believed in Coda or thought that they were at the top, I think they were pissed off about that. And I think they were very unhappy. And ultimately, these guys were proved to be wrong. The gods were kind of dicks. And then they left, and then the whole place blew up, and so you get the guy saying, "Look, this is a grudge. It sank with Ore at the end of the day. It was actually kind of over, I think, even with the Exodus. But it's amazing to think. You know how there's this thing of the humans tended to Ara, the clean streets of Ara, hoping the gods would return. What if there were Codan living with them, hoping the gods would return? They're all there, believing in the 6 or the 5. I think that's the story, guys, and I love that story, and I would pay for a Guild Wars product set in Ore with the Codan doing that. So anyway, that's what I think that's all about. I don't know if there's anything deeper. I don't know if we're fully in Dark Souls-y storytelling and ArenaNet will never nail that down. I don't see how that comes into the main story in any way. But there you go. That's my thinky dinks there. All right, and finally... Oh, that's it. That's it. It's over. That's the... Oh, finally, I do have one last note for you all. The voice and the claw. Are they, like, romantic? Because I think it's kind of weird and icky that Waiting Sorrow fucks off, gets ascended. Her claw, leads everyone south and dies. And then it's thousands of years, and she's flirting with Stoic Order now. Stoic Order's the new claw, and she's like... There's something really weird about that. I don't know. I'm not saying I'm offended by that or whatever, but it's a funny thought, isn't it? That now she's sort of... She's ingratiating herself with the new claw. I think there could be a good story in that, though, as well. Like, you know, her guilt for having abandoned the prior one and all that. There's so much good story, guys. And it's like, okay, but we're going to get, what, 10 pages of script? Like, what? How are they going to get through all of this in a way that feels satisfying, you know? Like, oh, God. But I like it so far. Oh, my God, we had another donation. Skylight, £20. Thank you. Thanks for all your Janthir streams and lore playthroughs, WP. Loving that you're vibing with the game again. Yeah, me too. It's nice to vibe with it. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thanks for all your generosity as this playthrough's gone along, guys. Widows and widowers get new lovers in real life too. Yeah, I mean, look, I'm interested in it. I think it's a topic. That's what I'm saying. I think it's a topic. More of a topic than I'd originally sort of realised or given credit for. Okay. So that's the intro. How are these intros all so long? By the way, have I regressed some heart progress? I swear I was nearly fully finished. So those are the things. Let me check my notes here. Oh yeah, one other thing that I didn't notice on my first playthrough, but the pine trees have unique icons, and I thought that was quite cool. I can't see any right now. Oh, let's do this. There's always a zerg of players here because this event is so hard. Oh, I fucked up my etching there. Whoopsie. I love this, the etching with the ice. Looks really good. The visual noise being a catalyst and on spear at the same time is just... it's unhinged. Okay, let's get some pomegranates going. By the way, yeah, okay, so live chat's been going. I haven't really looked at it. If anyone has any thoughts, feel free to repost them. You think that the gods meddled, but for most part it was good reasons. It's just they underestimated mortal greed. I don't know whether... I mean, ArenaNet's thing is their parents that are letting you stand on your own or whatever. I think they're negligent in their duty. I see a lot of suffering throughout the storyline, and the gods are doing absolutely nothing, and they're just overly cryptic, and... I don't know. I'm kind of iffy on the human gods. But there's so many stories, you know, like the seers interacting with the gods over the whole Bloodstone ordeal. And it is that weird thing, we could just go talk to the seer. No thoughts, head empty. Yeah. If you look at the Spirit of Fire, Spirit Lore, it suggests Coda entrusted Bitterfrost Codan with teaching the fire spirit balance. Yeah, like, I want to know more about exactly what these voice interactions are, you know? Right, there we go. We got the heart done now. So, yeah, by the way, I would kind of like to buy all the minis. Oh, not you. But the thing is, I've got to resist the urge to twist this casual story playthrough into like a 100% playthrough. The fact is, guys, that you should play it yourselves at some point. I do find when I'm playing it without speaking into the microphone constantly, I do enjoy it on a different level. Quite a nice level. I'll point out as well, the glint scale from the cave was the troll cave here. It was on the bottom left of the map here. Was that it? Was it all? Yeah, Bagu Cave over there. So I'll show you guys this. Oh, fuck. Do you know what? The animal we're meant to be speaking to is on the second map, isn't it? I came here because I thought we were going to go do the animal thing, but I think I've just messed up slightly. So. Yeah, there were just like lots of little things, events that I haven't seen and I haven't streamed. Oh, yeah, for example, over here in this area of the map, the whole derby, the Warclaw derby. This whole thing with this, I did that event. It's got a bit where you like pull open gates and close gates and stuff with the Warclaw chain pull, which was quite a nice little detail. I actually failed one of the events there. There's a race and stuff as well, I think. Right, here's the scale, see?
Was that really your best? I'll make a note not to rely on
These guys are all very funny as well, the trolls. These guys, are they going to speak? It's hilarious, the voice acting on this. This troll goes like... And then the Codan says, yes. Well, have fun, or something like that. It's pretty good. Right, so, yeah, let's finish our quest. We need to return to Mr. Ribbington. Check back with Mr. Ribbington. Mr. Ribbington was at the original camp. I'm sure he was. We've been sitting there the whole time. Also, if the gods didn't create Tyria, I doubt they created their new garden. That's a very good point as well. That's the thing. It's like they're mist travelers. And if they don't have the ability to create their own places in the mists, then they're kind of just barging in on pre-existing locales, right? And there's something not quite right about that. There's something unethical about that. And I think that's kind of a fundamental as well. I think things can't easily create real, proper, persistent realities. I think you can make fractals in the mists, and I think there can be echoes, like the world versus world lore. But there's something wrong about those places. There's something incomplete about those places. ArenaNet have got to like lay on the line what that is. But to make a true, proper reality, a real realm, I think is a very, very, very rare and difficult thing that the gods can't do, and most of these demons and people who want to get here, they also can't do. I like the idea that the gods have found some other place, they've pimped it out, cleaned it up a bit, and they've got some other like barrier. They've got like their own world spires that they've built over there or something, so it's safe as well. And I really like the idea that that's Guild Wars 3. Actually got it done, eh? Gotta be honest, didn't see that coming. Well, good for you, tadpole. Now wipe that dumb smile off your mug and go back and let Jeeves know we're ready. Scram, skedaddle. Will do. Just leaving. Alright, let's get in here. Now, Ms. Jeeves is in the house. Wait, are we doing this on list now, I guess, instead of the Sylvari? Doesn't really matter either way, I suppose. At least on list, I can open the world map and refer to other areas. Sorry, I didn't catch that. What did the troll say to the Coden? Something like that. Sorry, I don't want to demean them. All right. I don't want to make fun of their rich culture and beautiful language. Ah, my lovely loquacious lickspittle. You've located them all. Let the caper commence, kitten. Your big heist. Precisely. Meow. After all the painstaking plotting and planning, finally our recruits will rendezvous in the cave where you met Mrs. Knight. Find us there, kitten. It will be our finest hour. I'll head there quickly. Okay, so the cave where I found Mrs. Knight. Mrs. Knight was not the first cat, was it? Oh god. I'm gonna go to Wiki. I could actually use my brain to figure this one out now. But look, it's been a couple of days, guys. I've got a leaky head. Oh, that's not a nice sounding description, is it? Okay. Oh, this was the wolf. We're going to the cave with the wolf. Like Christ, I can't remember exactly what every single animal's name was. They all have amazing, weird, funny... Mr. White, Mr. Pink. If you guys haven't seen Reservoir Dogs, I've been thinking about that constantly as we've been playing through this. Big recommendation. The extra little meows are very 1960s Adam West Batman era Catwoman-esque. I'll take that as a compliment. Jesus Christ, it's over here. The icon makes that quite clear.
Ah, my kitten.
Oh, it was a girl.
You've all arrived. Thanks to our
Of course it was, Miss Jeeves.
friend here. If all goes as I've planned, our dishes will soon be filled with the freshest sashimi gold can buy. Not you, Salty. But what is our objective, you ask? Why, none other than the famed vaults of Lion's Arch. Specifically,
Oh, they're all here.
the purloining of the pecuniary property of one Captain Evan Nashblade. First, Fang and Mrs. Legs, you are the distraction. We'll want plenty of alone time in that vault. Mrs. Knight, ever the siren. Any lion guard come running, kitten, you howl as loudly as I know you can. The charming Mrs. Claus. There's a group of crabs near our entry point. Perhaps you could...
This is
persuade them
amazing.
to help? Mr. Razor will be the getaway driver, so to speak. He'll have us through the bay and at the objective in no time. Salty, you wiggle your slippery, scrumptious way into the wall cracks, widening them for us. Then we start digging. Ms. Blood, Once we are in, you are crowd control. No deaths, if you can help it, kitten. We are not wild beasts. Mrs. Buzz will disable any traps these bipedal buffoons won't have accounted for your wicked little wings. From there, we load up the take, fast as a falcon, silent as a sidewinder. Mr. Razor zips us out to sea, where Mr. Sleepy will be waiting to transport our haul over land. And then, my kittens, why, then we retire to lives of luxurious leisure, never wanting for catfish or catnaps. Shall we?
I love the... Sorry, so the dialogue wasn't very audible there, someone said. That's unfortunate. That would mean that the levels are off. I like that there was a human being on planet Earth who seriously had figured out and plotted out how a bunch of different animals can get into the vault and get out. This is it, kitten. Showtime. One last lick of larceny and then a life of long-lasting luxury. Or how do we put... something like that. I hope it goes well. Of course you do. You've earned a share after all. Assuming it all goes to plan, of course it will. My kittens will contact your kitten. Zizel, was it? Yes. Goodbye for now. I really like the idea that the potion just made us hallucinate. That none of this is real. This is so exciting. Thanks again for saving us. Watch out for each other and you'll do fine. Don't need to worry about us. I'm an expert thief already. Mr. Stripes, the masked bandit. I sincerely appreciate the help you provided. I'm happy to return the favour, though frankly I'm not sure precisely what I'm in here for. Well, it seems you're the lookout. Do you believe the citizens of Lion's Arch will allow a wolf to wander the streets unhindered? I am skeptical. Trust me, they've seen stranger things. There you are. I could smell the deliciousness coursing through your veins well before you arrived. Could I persuade you to provide another sample, perhaps? Oh, the savoury nose, the viscous palate, the... No. Well, you could reconsider. I have a business proposition. Blood as fine as yours is quite rare. With the proceeds from the heist, I could open a small tasting room for my fellow Flower Ravens. You provide the samples. Fang, the wise guy. It's good you brought me in. Time to show all those old-timers how things are done. Maybe you'll learn a thing or two from them. Pfft, not a chance. They need to let me run things. I've got fresh ideas. Hey, speaking of fresh, you got any more of that cabbage? Fresh out. How is the frog the muscle? Ribbington stares at me, eyes narrowed. Still not impressed? Heard a bit more about you. Think slaying dragons makes you a big deal? Try keeping this lot in check for 5 minutes, Commander. What about the bear? Mr. Sleepy, the sticky fingers. Oh, so you're the one who's been helping out. Well, I just want to get this over with so I can go back to dreaming about fish and honey and digging in junk piles. You two-legs sure do make a... You mean hibernating? Come now, Mr. Sleepy, it's far from winter time, and this will be your crowning caper, I promise, kitten. This is good dialogue as well, because the characters are interjecting and chatting amongst themselves as we progress. Exciting! Traps! Good story for friends in Hive! What a buzz! Oh yeah. Say safe yes. Then return to the Hive. Unless finding better work-life balance under permanent deploy of feline male factors. Miss Legs. Oh hey there, hon. Couldn't resist coming to see me off. Ready for the heist? Always ready, sugar. It's high time to take the show to the big city. Good luck. There's so many characters. Yeah, we read you already. Mr. Shadow, the drama king. Oh, they're all hooked under the same. Because they're the group. Oh, what? This is a cool quest. So finally, we go back to the pond. Tell Zizel. And I think Zizel's going to tell me it was a hallucinogen. I hope anyway. Well, I don't know, because I'd like a follow-up. I'd like it to be real. But there were no other characters involved. It was just me going mad, wandering around the woods, as far as I can tell. Hello, Zizel. Wayfinder, how goes the testing? Well, I think I am now an accomplice to a grand larceny. Indeed. I take it that you did not interfere with any of the animal's plans, then. Good, good. A proper experiment cannot be conducted if we attempt to influence the outcome. Not sure I'd call it proper, but it was interesting. Outstanding! I'm pleased with the results. I believe with another 9 to 14 years of testing, the potion might just be ready for public consumption. The potion might be ready, but I'm not sure we'll be... Okay, here's what this comes down to, guys. ArenaNet played Baldur's Gate 3. They liked talking to animals. And so for Guild Wars 3, they want that in there. So this potion's being invented so that we can talk to animals in the next game. There you go. Oh, we get Mini Mr. Ribbington. Nice. Everything goes back to Guild Wars 3, guys. Everything. Alright. Excellent. So, next, there's the Wisps thing. Apparently this one's not such a big deal. Okay, the thing I didn't do that I was supposed to do was Forgotten Lore. So that's still eyeballed, and we'll look at that. We'll look into that. Tales of the Lowland Wisps. Okay, so we have 2 quests left now, guys. I'm pretty sure. It's building the bear and doing the wisps, and I think then we're done. Oh, no, we have star-crossed lovers. Let's do that one first. Okay, so remember there was a Coden that we met, a Lowland Coden, who seems to really like one of the other ones. So let's do star-crossed lovers. Or do we balance out the really good stuff with the win? Oh, no, we got plenty of good stuff for tomorrow's episode. Or the next episode. Like the Forgotten thing. Okay. So we got to grab 5 wildflowers from Timberland Holt. Which is up here. They're basically by this tree. Again, Jesus, though. How would you figure all this out? I have to say, guys... Oh, I'm going to tag down. I know someone's in the squad, but I'm going to tag down, sorry. Oh, I shouldn't have done that, because we might have group events and things coming up. It occurred to me that quest we just finished, getting the crew back together... You're supposed to come to the expansion, do this adventure really quick. Now, I missed this, because the way that you go in and out of the instances is you kind of don't end up near here. But you're supposed to do this adventure straight away, right? I did the fish one underneath. I missed this. But you've just got to the X-Pack. You do it, you scout, Zizel will speak to you, and you proc the thing. And now, what happens is, while you're doing your first exploration, you just happen to be collecting the animals as you go. You wander over here, and oh, there's a guy behind there, and oh, he wants the cabbage. And here, you get the pop-up, and when you do this adventure, you find the other... It's actually not that hidden. If you already had it on the go, a lot of them kind of fall in your lap. So, I think that's the idea. For me, though, once I'd already done everything and came back, it was like, wiki was invaluable. So for that one, at least, I can see how players can do it without the wiki. Some of these other things, I don't know. I mean, this wisp thing, I think, is similar, actually. You really wish they had a cutscene on the heist? I mean... yeah, I mean, it would be nice. We'll put that in there. It would be nice again. But clearly, they can't do everything. If they're going to add a cutscene, I would want the cutscene to be about the main story rather than the silly fun stuff on the side. Not that I dislike the silly fun stuff on the side, but where would you put the resources? Do you know what I mean? Imagine they release an X-Pack, right? And all the main big juicy topics are really under budgeted, but there's like this fun thing on the side, and it's it's where everything went because they just rather talk to us about talking animals at this point. Let's just do this. To a lesser or greater extent, this has actually been an offense and a conversation with regard to the Super Adventure Box, right? So well made, so beautiful, so incredible. And I remember I had friends at the time saying, why aren't they adding raids? Why are they doing this? I remember that very distinctly. Oh, okay. This is immediately not right. Oh, no. Here we go. Oh, wow. You can pick the flowers, but you have to, like... Wow. Oh, my God. That's a really pretty sounding thing there as well. Please tell me you guys hear this well. I'm turning it up a bit. That comment, you couldn't even hear the audio. Just the voices. The voices should be about the same level as everything. So if you couldn't hear those, maybe you can't hear that bird very well either. So we got... Oh, God, what? Wait, what? I don't know how many I've got. They're not even in there. I guess I'll just keep pressing F and hope I can collect some more. There's one. They're called wildflowers, but they're not actual items that I'm really getting. These appear naturally disappeared. There's another one. These appear naturally in Lowland Springs during the harvest. I thought it was going to say during the day there, which would have panicked me.
You're helping me today? Barbed Veil must have
No, I'm not.
I could use an extra spear anyway. Our target is quick. Tether it with your journeykin, and when it's weak, attack. No needless suffering.
Ah, there's a buff, I see.
The village was gifted a few communication devices, so I'll be with you the whole way. Oh, a little scary what technology has become.
Okay, so we have 5, and that's all we need. Now we're going to go to Blue Ice Shining. This is amazing. This is Blue Ice Shining. And we're going to go talk to one of the Coden. If this is, like, hooking into some dialogue that's been here since 2012... Like, what if this Coden has been lonely and sad since 2012 and talking about someone he once knew? And here we go. Wouldn't that be incredible? Whenever I climb this bit here, it always makes me think about Bitterfrost, because the sanctuary there is the exact same. It's just scaled way smaller. Let's jump over. Not over there. We're going this way. Come on, Mr. Hops. That's the name of my Springer. So, it's a guy. Do you know what I should do? I should do it this way. It's so difficult to get. I want chat on, I want OBS on, I want the game on, I want wiki on. We have so much real estate. So fiddly. Okay. It's like... We're delivering them to Winter Sky. Or is he at the door down below? Is he underneath, maybe? No. Let's work a swift hammer. Oh my god, the wings. Huh. I think he's like... I think he's on this one over here, actually. He might have roamed. He might have walked around. He's supposed to be standing here, I think. Oh, hold on. I think we fucked it up. Yeah, I think you need to collect the flowers. And then you need to... The wildflowers are quite small, and the collection icon only appears once you're very close to them. Progress is tracked with wildflower. You will not be notified when you have the necessary 5, but I noticed that. It says they need to be handed in at Flowering Meadow to progress. I just went to take him the flowers straight away, but no, we need to bundle them, I guess? If you find a wildflower, you can move away a bit and loot the same one and over until you get 5. Okay, so we need to go back to the original Coden. I guess we need her approval as to whether they're actually pretty enough flowers or what. Thank you, everybody in chat who's explaining that same thing. That's very useful. Thank you, guys. You like the idea of them updating you on the heist over the patches? Yeah, I think that would be cool. I think if each new patch... It's kind of like the Hildebrand stories, right? I'm so sorry to keep doing comparisons to a game and a series you guys might not have seen yet. But it's like the Hildebrand stuff, you know, like I was looking at the 2.0 patch series in 14, and they had like a really fun, silly, goofy side quest that was slowly getting expanded as the patches came out. And it would be like I feel pretty confident that the next release will have the fallout from the caper. And if they do that 3 times in a row, so it's like a 4-part story, I think that'd be quite entertaining. And you'll see Let's Plays of it, for sure. Here we go. Okay, so we have the 5 flowers. Now we're going to, instead of leaving immediately, let's go back. So my instinct is to Springer when I'm on this. It's just because I love that Springer so goddamn much. Let's Roman Warclaw here instead. Well, you need to know where he is, too. Yeah, you say that, except these achievements very often just set you loose. Here we go. Hello again, Wayfinder. Thank you. I mean, obviously they give you a bit of a hint. I think I've got enough wildflowers. Such lovely flowers. Thank you. You're very kind, Outlander. Prepared the letter I have. Oh, we got to get the letter. So what can you tell me about Winter Sky to help me find him? He's as beautiful as the aurora, and his heart is as big and full as the ocean, and he stands so tall, and... I was thinking more practical than that. Oh, he lives in the sanctuary called Blue. I can't remember the rest. It's been so long. Okay, I'll find him, don't worry. Thank you, safe travels. Oh, how I wish I could explore the outside lands as I did before. Alright. Deliver the wildflowers and a love letter to a Coden named Winter Sky. Somebody likes you! And then we look back and it's me raising and lowering my eyebrows. And then we're going to smash cut to the sound of an ambulance siren. That's probably the best Millhouse joke from The Simpsons that there ever was. I just told you guys about that. I recommend you you pause this video and you type in the YouTube search bar The Simpsons Millhouse Somebody Likes You. I don't know, something like that. It will come up. Poor Millhouse. Oh, here he is. Well, he's obviously not a vanilla thing then if he disappears. Wait, no, you're just a hungry... You're just hungry. What about... Maybe he is downstairs then, after all of this. No, he's not down there. The map says he's like... I guess we'll just speak to them and see. Could I trouble you for some food? No, I already did this heart.
How may I aid you?
Oh, I love these guys so much. These Coden are the best Coden. Oh, that's just an beginning tonic. I can think of no better quest for us to play as... a Coden. So that's what I'm going to do, baby. Hell yeah.
I greet you like the sky.
Oh, but we can't mount. Ugh. And I think our gliding will look a bit awkward here. I want the southmost one. So what? Right up near the... Oh, so this is the character. It's just... Sure, what can I get you? They're barrels of fish. No, he's just hungry. Oh, sorry. I'm at the wrong sanctuary this time, aren't I? Silly, silly, silly. Yeah. We were here a minute ago and now we're not. Also, let me just see here. Novelties, because I was rebinding stuff and I kind of messed things up a little bit. Miscellaneous. Oh, I put it on alt. Weird. Okay. Alt and 5 is the tonic. Wait, Alt and F? That's not right. Oh, no, I remember. It's these. Okay, yeah. Alt and then my mouse. My MMO mouse. Okay. See if we can drill a little bit of that muscle memory into myself. Because I set up... It's a really good setup. I just need to remember that that's how I have it set up. While you guys can't see, I'm constantly pressing F1, 2, 3, 4, 5, expecting my chair and stuff to proc. And it's not. So then I'm doing these like clunky... mousing around with the UI things, and I knew I had it set up, but I just forgotten exactly what I did. Okay, is it you?
All things in the end will find balance.
A great storm looms upon the horizon. It's not you. It's you. You have the icon. Hello. Winter Sky. Hello. What is it? I'm busy here. He looks angry. I've come with a letter from Flowering Meadow.
From Flowering Meadow?
Yes.
You intend to play a cruel joke on me. Be gone. I have no time for this.
Wow. Relax, dude. Come on. Was I unclear? Leave me be. Would you just look at the letter? I do not have time for this. We are under constant siege here, and the bridge must be watched. Let me see if I can do something about that. Earn Winter Sky's trust by defending the bridge to Blue Eyes Shining. I remember this event. It's like down below, right? Oh, the glider does work quite well. It's this. So we're just going to have to sit and wait. Oh, God. Is it all full of events, guys? Well, let's just see what we've got here. Successfully complete an event relating to the Sanctuary Bridge and then talk to Winter Sky again. You either want to defend the bridge or you want to keep Dredge away from the repair site as they build the bridge. So basically we're just... Oh, you look very shiny there, Pangle. So basically we're just waiting for this to proc. You can never really know the timers though. I feel like I'd really appreciate some UI saying there's an event in this area, it will spawn in X. I know it kind of takes the magic away and the immersion to an extent, but I feel like that's a trade I'd make. Oh, you couldn't really hear him speaking. He's only as loud as your combat volume. Yeah, that's the problem. I don't think the compression idea is going to work because it's going to... Unless I can dynamically hotkey it. Add Falling Star to my watch list? Oh, yeah. Okay, so obviously we bought this Wizard's Vault thing. Sorry, here. The Falling Star collection. Lots of people will have done this on day one. It's a quest that gives you a spear skin. And it's something else for us to do. So it comes in 3 parts, it looks like. On behalf of the Wizard's Vault, investigate rumours of an object that fell to Tyria on Janthir's coast. Speak with Field Architect Ciel in the Lowland Shore. Acquire a glove fit to hold a weapon from the stars. The Meteor Wielder's glove selection. So yeah, Meteor Wielders. Kind of amazing actually, really, isn't it? So a friend told me, can you see this infusion here? The heat core infusion? This thing in the Wizard's Vault isn't just a spear skin. It's a unique glove skin and an infusion. I don't know whether that infusion has a visual effect on it. But you see, it's called the Heat Core Infusion, and it is a +5, +9. Enables the superheated state of the Falling Star Spear. I guess when we equip it, it changes the visuals of the spear. That's amazing. Wow. But anyway, my friend told me that when that was originally added, it was bugged. And it was giving you +9 power, +5 agony resist. Like, they had it swapped. So you could get +4 attributes from this, basically. But they fixed it now. As obviously they should. But it was basically the most OP infusion of the game of all time because it was +9 instead of +5. I would not mind them going up to +6 at least for the diehards and just have it cost insane amounts of karma and dragonite ore and imperial fragments and bloodstone bricks. You know, just all that shit that everyone has so much of and is really... When you need it, the whole game feels so rewarding and fun, but when you don't need it, it's all boring and uninteresting. So I want big sinks for those things. It's linked to your glove skin or having the infusion. You can either equip the infusion or the glove to turn the spear on fire. Ah, I see. Okay. And does the spear look any good when it's not on fire? That's interesting code there. That's quite cool. So yeah, and it looks like, I guess, with the Falling Star, it's not 3 quests. It's one's going to give us the spear. One's going to give us the glove. And this quest will just guide us through all of that. So those other 2 will probably come for free as we just move on. So it's a 9-part quest. I'm tempted to leave and start the quest. But, but this bridge building thing might happen in the meantime. Another thing, by the way, I didn't talk about, but I noticed, Kerry was decorating in the homestead. I guess one of the things you get with the collector's edition is like a games board. And did you guys see that it's basically Polymock? Oh, here we go. There's a cool, really cool looking Polymock board. I think it's Polymock anyway. I'm going to try and show you guys a max size fire etching because it is just... ready? Here you go. Look at that absolutely insane visual. That's one skill. completely bonkers. You try and dodge and get a bit of alacrity. I really like the water one. I think it's my favorite, actually. Really. Like, you get the iceberg pieces coming up. Oh, the ice bridge took a bit of damage there. Maybe we should move forwards a bit to... Oh god, I'm messing up my order. I need to press 5 first and not forget to press 5 first. Her boob is quite cool as well. I love the dust storm there. Oh, we destroyed that rabbit. Oh, I noticed as well, there are jackalopes in the forest. I didn't even realise there were jackalopes. Didn't really look at the ambient creatures. There's actually a lot of really nice little details in the opening instance, like with a deer with a bunch of fawn trotting along following them. Like, they did the wildlife quite comfortably and cool. I tried to do the old quickness fire elemental burst combo, but they were out of range. You first saw the Ellie spear effects during the story instance from Waiting Sora, and I thought, yeah, that's a wizard magic doing wizard work, but no, it's just the spear animations. Yeah, it's not custom Waiting Sora stuff, it's just straight up spear. There's a nice touch with Waiting Sora as well, which is that when she's a healer, when she's fading Aurora, and, you know, she's just healing people and helping people, if you ever click on her, you can see that she's an elementalist, and you can see what attunement she's in. She's always in water attunement. Once she starts fighting the Titans, though, and it's clearly Waiting Sorrow, she swaps to fire attunement. It's a nice little touch, isn't it? Not something that I had spotted as I was playing it initially. Obviously, we had so many other things going on. There you go. So I've defended the bridge. Whoa, what on earth happened there? I tried to use my mount hotkey. Oh my god, that must be a common bug then. I used my tonic. In a tonic, I used my Skyscale, like, free Skyscale mastery proc. And it launched me from the mastery, but I couldn't then get into the Skyscale, so all I did was jump. It was like basically a big jump for me. I made a real mountain out of that molehill, didn't I? Coming back to this guy. Alright, what do you think? I admit, you would not have done all this for a mere joke. Let me see the letter.
How? She really sent you? My flowering meadow? I must send her something back. Wildflowers do not bloom here in the ice, but perhaps there is something else. Oh, I need ice. Not just any ice, for to survive the journey, it must be special. Can you bring me shards of corrupted ice? I must stay here and defend the sanctuary.
Okay. So, successfully complete an event relating to the bridge. Now we need to go to the Drakar waypoint. And we're going to look for a corrupted ice shard on the ground and take it back. This one here? Oh, that's bizarre. This is just an environmental object, right? You can waypoint with environmental objects if I remember rightly. Oh, we have a problem though, that we're in a tonic with an environment. Oh, let's just walk. We go. Not everything has to be max speed. Look at this, guys. Let's enjoy the ambience of climbing the iceberg. Oh, hey, I can hear it now perfectly. Yeah, that's because I'm manually, while he's speaking, turning it up and down. The idea is to have a solution that means I don't have to fuck with things manually. Like, I'm either manually turning down combat noises, or I'm manually turning up voices, which basically means that I'm at a net zero. So we'll have to figure something else out. Winter Sky. You returned with the ice. Thank you. I must prepare something now. So, what happened between you two?
We were little more than cubs when we met in the lands between here and Janthir. She had journeyed east, and I west, each in search of food in a barren year. We pursued the same heart, but we only realized when our spears struck it down at the same time. We hunted together for the rest of spring, but that is all.
Oh.
Lowlanders would not have welcomed me, and those that do not follow Coda cannot live in the sanctuary.
Oh. Okay. So they're being very clear about the fact that these guys don't follow Coda. The Lowlanders don't follow Coda. And also that they're isolationists and pushed away these other Codan. Oh, let me ask him about that, though. Let me ask him about the history of bad history between them. It is done, but I must ask a favour of you. Can you take this letter and this sculpture to her? My leg is swollen from a wound, and I cannot make the journey now. Okay, yeah. I'll be your errand boy. So we're going to go back to Flowering Meadow now. And see what she thinks. I'm getting weirdly confused about what's where. What? You looked for half an hour for it and you couldn't find one? What, the thing that I just picked up off the ground, the corrupted ice? Oh, that's brutal. I kind of wonder, that's a thief stolen ability as well. I wonder if you could, well, no, it obviously wouldn't work. I don't wonder, but it's an interesting thought. Right, I'm gonna arrive to her looking like this, okay? And she's gonna think, oh my god, he's here! And then it's just gonna be me, teehee, trickster. Looks like chat doesn't engage in chat. What do you mean? Asking chat, is Tater too big to engage with chat? What are you talking? Have you been here for like 2 minutes? Flowering Meadow. That's not fun. That sucks. Thanks. You've returned. Did you find him? Did you get my letter? He did. And he sent you something also. Oh, my sweet my. This is beautiful beyond worlds. He really made this sculpture for me? Yes. He wanted to come himself, but his leg is injured.
Is he okay? Is someone taking care of him? He needs medicine, Wayfinder. No, this won't do.
Oh, she's like panicking.
I need to make him some medicine. Can you gather some things for me? Need these herbs, I do. And honey, that's very important. Bring it, and I will prepare the mixture.
Okay. So we're going to heal up his leg. So that, but to what end? There's nothing really that's going to come of this. Okay. So we go back to the trees, and we're going to gather honey for the Codan. And then we get the healing herbs from the wolf pup event or the fawn event. Okay, those are both, they both spawn very frequently. In fact, it looks like one of them's up already at the moment, so we can decode them and run through. Actually, we had to do the bee thing before, but it was fine. We could just grab the pot regardless, but I guess it's going to be the full thing, so. I'm going to tag up as well if you guys want to do this, because the injured fawn and the injured wolf event is, like, tricky. So if you guys want to join me, you're more than welcome to. I've just realized your thumbnail about this indicates it may end tragically. Yeah, I don't know how it's going to end. I just meant, like, you know, star-crossed lovers, cross two houses. So, as far as I know, the next event will hopefully roll as soon as this one's up. I'm not sure, though. Fucking up the etchings again. I love that tidal wave animation. It looks so good.
I've seen this many a bee, and look, Buzzy's simply elated.
Oh my god, I never heard that before. The bzzz noise.
All for fine reasons. Healthy flowers mean well-fed bees, and that means honey abounds. Not to mention berries, veggies, and grains. Without bees to pollinate them, they simply wouldn't be. So take pride in your work, Buzzy. You too, visitor. Sweet as honey you are to me. Visitor, dearie, now that the grueling grub work is over, the fun begins. Unless you're timid of heights, though you seem the strapping adventurer sort. With the flowers flourishing and the bees in business, the honey flows plentiful. Take advantage, we must. See these trees? Grab a honey pot, then hippity-hop your way to the tippity-top.
Jesus Christ, she just...
Like roots in the ground, countless are the routes you may take. None are right or wrong, so long as you're heading up. When you reach a hive, fill your honey pot, then bring it here. Hives thrive in these trees, so you needn't look far.
I cannot believe how long she kept talking there. That was insane. Oh my god. That's a lot of dialogue. Oh, she's still going.
Races are ready to begin.
All right.
On your marks, get set.
Well, okay, sign me up to the race. Let's go. I think this is the thing we have to do. Yeah, okay, to that person in chat, listen, I'm not always looking at chat. Just because I'm live, it doesn't mean it's like a personal little chat room where we're going to sit down and have a conversation. I will miss messages sometimes. You know, I'm trying to do a show. I'm trying to read stuff in game. My focus is not on you. So yes, I'm sorry, I missed your message. It's a very nice message, thank you. You haven't been able to catch me live in 11 years. That's lovely to see you, thank you. You don't have to get immediately fucked off with it, though. Sounds like they're talking through a timey communicator. Oh no, I missed! Sounds like they're talking through a timey communicator. Yeah, a little bit, yeah. It's really shit live streaming because, like... Either I have to hawk that chat permanently, or I look and someone's fucking upset that 2 seconds have passed and I haven't responded to them. Or I have to keep staring at the chat and there's not any messages to respond to anyway. It really sucks, man. I don't like streaming. To be honest, I don't like streaming. We'll see. We'll see how it feels as we go along. And the notion that the reason I'm not looking at chat is because I think I'm too big for chat. How dare I try to focus on the game and do a bit of a show? How dare I? Sorry, I didn't realise this was a chat room for you. That's so fucking annoying, man. Ugh. But of course, I can't talk about it as annoying because then that drags it down even more. And becomes just like even whingier. So you just have to have people needling you and just be quiet and never talk about it. There we go. We got all the buzzy treetops. OMG, why haven't you responded to me yet? I am sorry I don't get to respond to everyone. I'm really sorry. But, you know, we're not in Discord. Okay, so wait. Why are you not accepting...
Right you are, Buzzy, like a poised worker.
Oh, I contributed 19 and we need like 2 more and the event's done. I think this is the event. Let's see. Get honey from the honey gathering event. Gather honey for the codon. Yeah, this is definitely it. Okay, so we've done that. So next, what we want to do is the wounded fawn or the wounded wolf. And again, they're tricky. So if people want to play that with me, I would be very happy with that. I probably won't do spear on this. I'll probably do a hammer. Just because I actually have a bit of muscle memory for that. And I'll get that done nice and comfortably. Okay, there we go. Star-crossed lovers is done. So I get healing herbs from one of those 2. So let's go. And they're probably up. Oh, I got an achievement. Get first place. Hey. I didn't realise that was a thing. Will the 14 series be like this? It will probably be a lot quieter and it will be a lot slower. It won't have Q&A sections and stuff on it. It will have a slightly different vibe. But at the end of the day, it's me playing an MMO, getting into the story. So yeah, maybe all I need to do is like get like chat on the main screen or something. Because people, I have noticed, there does seem to be a thing. Some people get really fucking offended if they don't get quick responses. And to think that that's ego-driven on my part is like, ugh. But yeah, so I don't know. But 14, because just by virtue of being a lot slower, I'm sure there'll be a lot more time to interact with chat and balance and stuff. It's usually around here, I think. So this one's not up. We could go look for the wolf one. Since this one's clearly not going. Let's see. Will the 14 streams have quizzes again about what actual number it is? I mean, potentially, yes. The 14 stuff's going to be really weird because last time I was doing 14, I was totally blind. Like, it was a fully blind playthrough. This time, obviously, I've played it once before. But a lot of the stuff I haven't played for fucking ages now, like 2 years. Especially ARR. I haven't played ARR for about 4 years. So I'm kind of, like, half blind. Which I think will actually be of a huge benefit to it. I think I'll get to have a lot of magic and memory and excitement of it. But also... neither of these events are the ones that we want, are they? But also, I'm gonna know not to drag down some massive conversation for no reason. We won't have any like fading aurora moments. Let's put it that way. Have I made any videos? I have one video. Maybe I have more than that. But the main one I did is I did a review of both games. I compared both games. It's about two years old now. Should we just do this while we wait? I guess. I mean, it's XP after all, and we get mastery value. Will I remember Garbu and Siddharth? Well, actually, I had basically fully forgotten about Garbu, but I recently did a Heaven's Ward playthrough, so I do remember Garbu actually at the moment. But it's amazing the things I forgot about it. I think I'm in a really good sweet spot there, where I'm very competent with the actual game, and I have a lot of cool things to show off, but a lot of it will feel very fresh, and I'm looking forward to replaying. This talk about 14 makes you want to play it? Well, I'm hoping that when we do start it, because I'm starting from the start, the series is from the beginning, guys. For those that don't know, and there's really no point in me talking about this right now. Oh, here we go. The healing thing is up. Go, 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 go. The healing thing's up. It's over here. There's really very little reason me talking about this. We got to bring it here, herbs, otherwise it will die. Get a herb. And then bring it back. And we got to heal it. Oh god, that was very little healing. More herbs, more herbs. There's one over here. This one seems harder than the deer one because there's all these rocks around which slow down the delivery of herbs. We keep healing it, and hopefully other people will kill the mobs. I'll get in and fight in a second, but we got to give it a bit of health. Yeah, there's no point in me talking about this because I'm probably going to be talking about it very soon, but on my old LP that I did, it was purely on Twitch. This one's going to be here on YouTube. It was purely on Twitch, and I started like halfway through the game. Well, not halfway, but a good chunk. Basically, what happened, guys, was I picked up that MMO because I wanted to see, I was interested in it and Elder Scrolls Online. This was just before New World came out as well, I think. I was interested in these other MMOs because I wanted to compare them to Guild Wars. I wanted to see what, you know, the rest of the genre was like. So on my own, I played 14. I didn't stream it. I didn't make any videos of it. I played like all the base leveling stuff, and the game's really rough early on. I played all of it and didn't really like it. Then about a year went by, and I thought, do you know what? I'll try it again. Apparently, it gets really good. And then that was when I started streaming it. So my streams from 2 years ago, they actually started like a chunk of the way in to the first expansion. Which in some ways was good because that's where the quality really starts coming in and it really improves. And that was an amazing series that I played through with you guys. It was lots of fun. I think we all agree it was really, really good. But it wasn't from the start. Like, the actual beginning where you level and you can actually start, that never happened. There was never a moment where a video came up on WoodenPotatoes where it said, hey guys, I'm starting a new MMO. Do you want to come and level with me? That never happened because I didn't know if I could trust the MMO. I didn't know whether it was actually any good. So that moment never occurred. So, but this time it will actually, that's what I'm going to be doing very soon, in a matter of days. Or, well, we'll see. I'm going to do a channel update. But I'm going to basically be saying, look, I'm going to start it up. It's really good. I promise it's really good. And I'm going to begin a Let's Play on it, a proper Let's Play from the start. And when I say proper Let's Play, I mean live Let's Play. I don't mean Zeus, FF6, and the other stuff you'll see. Because, you know, MMOs are just so big, guys. It has to be a bit of a live format. Having a live chat, having a bit of back and forth. those things really help in moments like what you're watching right now, where we're essentially grinding events and things. This pup is going to fucking die. This is unbelievable. I feel like no one else is healing it. Come on. I know that's not true. Someone will be. I think we're going to fail it. I really do. This is a really hard event. 55 seconds. There's 2 titans. Did we overscale it, maybe? I'm not sure. So yeah, to that person who said, oh, I want to try it as well, I recommend you do. I think it would be really cool. And like I say, because I am familiar with the actual game and the UI and stuff, I can, in that series, I'll be able to give real advice on like how to play, how it works, stuff like that. There are certain things about how, because that's a different combat system. It's a GCD-based combat system. And in the series, I'll teach you all about it. Like, I didn't really get it for a long time. I played it like Guild Wars for a long time. But so yeah, I think it'll be good. It'll be a good like tutorial thing, and it'll be fun to go back through the story because it's been years and years and years since I did it. Here we go. 3 seconds. 4. Some people were healing it there, by the way. Good job. Nice. So we have the honey and we have the poultice. We can now fix the guy's leg, but I think we want to go back to her first, so let's do that. Oh, we had a donation. Thank you, C-Cube. BGN. Another currency I don't know. Thank you very much. 20 BGN. Thank you. You are the best at streaming. Yeah, thank you. Ignore my insecurities, guys. I just don't want people to have had a bad show or whatever, you know. And that's a part of why I don't like it. When I do stuff pre-recorded, there's like no stress. There are multiple levels of mastering and just chilling with what you've made and being comfortable with it. This is like flying by the seat of your pants, and I'm just prone to insecurity and stress. That's what it is. So thank you. Do you think Coden will reappear with their big ship bases in next parts of the X-Pack? That's a really good idea. I didn't actually think about that. I kind of have missed the Highland Coden a bit in this expansion. Obviously, they're in it a good amount. And the magic is the interplay between them. But yeah, you're suggesting, like, do we get a map like this? Half of it's water and there are sanctuaries out there? I think that would be amazing. That would be really cool. And do you know what? They have the whole engine thing where they can move stuff now. If they can actually make the sanctuaries move, like, they don't have to move much, but if they're like doing this a little bit in the bay or whatever, I think that would be absolutely awesome. Or down here maybe. I would love that. Unedited is the best. I don't know. It's two sides of the same coin, isn't it, really? Your decision. I mean, I get lots of messages of people saying, can you stream more? And I get lots of decisions of comments of people saying, can you do more unedited edited stuff more? The streams are too long, blah, 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 blah. You know, can't please them all. Right now, I think the channel is in a very cool place where every other day I have each format going. And I think that's awesome. And I'll sustain that as long as I can. But at some point, I'm going to have to go away with the live stuff, by the way, because I'm going to have to knuckle down for a month or so to just fully produce something else. We have the anime coming up as well that I want to talk about. You brought the ingredients! Oh, hold on. There we are. You brought the ingredients. Here, I will mix them. Please hurry and take them to him. I will. There we go. So, give Winter Sky the healing concoction. Let's go. Homestead Sanctuary? What do you mean? How do you compare the new player experience between 14 and Guild Wars 2? Guild Wars 2 is a billion trillion times better. Guild Wars has a good, solid UI that you don't have to fuck with much. It has clean bindings. It's brilliant. The QOL and polish on Guild Wars is unparalleled. As far as I've seen. I mean, more modern games, it looked like New World had a lot of polish as well for, like, onboarding and stuff. Guild Wars is fucking amazing. Guild Wars is very, very good. FF is one of those janky-ass, terrible, like, dated in a lot of ways, clunky as shit UIs that, like, ugh. I mean, it's serviceable, but the upside for Final Fantasy is they do let you customize the hell out of it, and so you can wrangle it into something really good. So, like in Guild Wars, you know there's these options in Guild Wars. These always show. The dynamic HUD. So for me, for default, always show, but then you could say immersive and turn them off. But while I hold a hotkey, they pop back up. Like, you can do stuff like this in FF as well. And that's what or you can almost do stuff. It doesn't have the cool fade effect and stuff. Guild Wars is just way more polished. It's way better. But, like, when you watch my series, if you watch my series, you'll see I have my UI set up a lot like this immersive stuff here. But you have to go to much, much, much more effort than what ArenaNet allows you to do, which is to just, you know, hit a preset here and then go with it. And I think the one I've been doing is this, basically. So yeah, it's rougher, especially if you've only ever played action games and action MMOs. Learning about GCD-based combat, I think, is a bit of a hurdle. I can teach it to you, no problem, though. It's very, very comfortable. Their combat in general is a lot slower and more static. Let's not get too distracted here. You return! Flowering Meadow, prepare this medicine for your leg. Oh, sorry. Also, I want to be a Coden. She made this for me? That settles it. I will go to her. Let her know that I will make the journey soon. Be careful in your travels. Oh, they're going to meet each other. Meet Flowering Meadow and Winter Sky in Harvest Den. I like how both their names are kind of seasonal, you know. You didn't know what weaving was till level 90? Yeah, I had a thing where I played Monk, which is like one of the fastest in terms of like GCD speed and stuff in there. And whenever I got a new skill, I would just treat it a bit like Guild Wars and just spam the fucking thing as fast as I could. Like, oh, that's another thing that I have to press right at the beginning of a fight. Like, and to an extent, that's kind of what you do in that game. But you weave it and you do it properly, right? I didn't get any of that. And it was just chaos for me. For a long time. You can, literally, if you go onto my second channel, WP2, I have VODs of the last playthrough. And you'll see me learning it as it goes along, because it's chat teaching me as we play, you know. A lot of those fundamentals were taught to me by you guys, and it's all there. I mean, it's all really bad quality, though. It's like 720p, and they're like VODs, and it's just, ugh, I don't know. I can do it much better this time. Much better. Hello, Flowering Meadow. If we can figure out the audio anyway. How is he? Did the medicine work? Oh, please tell me it worked. It did, and he's coming to see you. Ooh, oh my god, a cutscene!
Really you?
No.
I'm sorry that I kept you waiting for so long.
Oh, hush, you silly bear. I thought I'd never see you again.
What is the meaning of this? No sailor of the bitter wind is welcome here.
Oh, wow.
Return to the ice, where your superstitions are wanted. Our village has no need of them.
Don't talk to him that way. He's not dangerous.
This is not a discussion. We are prepared to escort you out if needed.
It will not be needed. I will not fight you. Don't cry, little flower. It was worth the journey just to see you again.
Oh, look at that. That's kind of a new sort of storytelling. It's like a cutscene, but not quite. Wow. Distant thunder. Speak quickly. Already expired, my patience has. This is amazing. So this is... We're getting really tangible thing here of like, okay. They don't like... They call people who follow Coda superstitious. Why won't you let them be together? I will not be lectured by an outsider. The good of this village is my concern, and the sailors of the bitter wind do not share our ways. I love how they know the sanctuary immediately, like very specifically. Then I'll just have to help you see. Oh, will I? Oh, come on. Oh. Okay. In the name of love, we'll help them see. Let's do it that way. You don't have to indoctrinate everyone to be Crichtons. Earn Distant Thunder's trust by completing events in the Harvest Den. How many? Loads? Some? I haven't really seen on Wiki. Let's quickly go over here then and tag this just in case it's about to leave. I've just realised I fucked up my dynamic UI here actually. Because I've removed events from my HUD, but that's fine. We could just hit our hotkey.
They'll be snuggled up together in no time, thanks to you.
Thank you. Yeah, no thanks to me. Thanks to me indeed. Will I play 14 on NA servers again? That's a question I still haven't resolved, and I'm wondering whether I should put into the channel update. I don't really know how it works, to be honest. When you make a second character, you can pick another server, right? Can you pick a whole different data center? Like, if my account is on North American data center, not European, when I make a second character, can I swap that completely? I don't know the answer to that. That's one of the little things that I've had to look up. Because I kind of like the idea of having an EU character and an NA character. But on the other hand, I've heard that when you get into like the end game of that, they like you to have alts. So it might be nice to have 2 characters in the same place. So that have an alt in the same place. I don't know. I don't know. Also, this is lol. No, he can't stay unless you want to do some chores for me. No, it's not like that, is it? We're... Oh, wow, is that it? It was just the one event. Okay. Well, that was very clean. That was like on a plate for us there, really, wasn't it? Yes, you can make a character on a completely different data center. See, now that's the thing. Maybe I'll have an EU character. The thing is, though, guys... Ugh. I don't know whether I'm going to be making a new character. I'm going to be starting from the beginning, yes. But at a certain point, I think I'll be swapping back to my main. These are all conversations for in a little bit, I guess. But when so again, it should probably be the same data center, so that when I swap to my main, I don't estrange myself from all the people who wanted to play along. So I think that's the way I'll be doing it. You have helped me, my bearkin, and my village very well, and I'm gonna use this tonic again specifically to force you to collaborate. Very well. Open my mind to your counsel, I will, but this is your only chance. Okay, driving him away will only drive her away. Is that true? She's lived here happily despite feeling a longing for him all these years. She will recover from the wound in time. She will come to understand my reasons and she will accept them. If you're wrong, you'll lose her forever. Will she? But okay. And what would you have me do instead? Entrust my only child to some wandering sailor? Give him a chance. You can always expel him later if you need to.
Very well. He may stay for now, but I reserve the right to change my mind. I am not made of stone, Wayfinder. But I will always do what I must to protect my child. You would do the same.
But talk to me about Coda. Talk to me about that. You're not doing the thing. Oh. Yes, you're mistrustful. Now show me the deep roots of that mistrust. Okay, so what's going on here now? Oh, we're going to live together in here. Oh, this is nice. Hello. Flowering Meadow. Look who it is. You two have a lot.
Now the fun begins. Ready to grow big and strong, little sproutling?
Oh, that's funny. The dialogue in the background there saying, and now the fun begins when they're alone in the house together. I was like, that's not dialogue from this, is it? Okay. He says, look who it is. You two have a lovely homestead.
You have a kind heart, Wayfinder. You've given us another chance at happiness.
I don't know how to repay this debt of gratitude to you. I will find a way someday, I hope.
Oh, there we go. Oh my god, look, and we got the next mastery tier from that. I wonder if all these stories are called candidates for expansion as the patches go along. This one's maybe a little bit more concluded. So it's a happy ending. It's not a bad ending, it's a happy ending, see? Well done, guys. Lovely. So Star-Crossed Lovers, complete. Beautiful. Let's look now. I want to look into the Quaggan Build-A-Bear thing. One of the last things... it is the last thing, actually, isn't it? Oh, no, and then we have the Wisps. Well, let's have a look at the start of the Wisps, at least. So, we spoke to Stalwart Heart at Moon Camp, who said, follow the Wisps. So then we need to search under the moon near where our journey begins, and the very first wisp is basically right at the start of the expansion. And I think it's like, if you guys remember, in Secrets of the Obscure, there were these golden interactables you could interact with at the Wizard's Tower, and it would spawn a bunch of anomalies that would point in a direction, and then once they had pointed in the right way, you could follow them, and it would like open a chest or something. I think this is a bit like that. Oh, this is awkward. I can't sky scale back up. Sorry, because I notice here there's an achievement marker for the Falling Star Spear here, so let's grab that as well. Hello. Field Archivist Cyril? Hello, Commander. What can this humble archivist help you with? I'm here to investigate the Falling Star. I like this, the way he's sitting on the edge. Splendid. I've been waiting for help. I've been working to triangulate the meteor's location and have narrowed it down to this region. As our premier diplomatic envoy in the region, I'd like you to interview local Codan scouts Based on their information, if you can find the fallen star, then please follow the lead immediately. Okay. Alright, I'll find out what the scouts have seen. So, do I believe it's... This is kind of amazing. Hold on, is this really a big long story about a meteor? So we're talking about extra-dimensional multiversal stuff in this constantly, but we're literally talking a little bit about a chunk of rock that came from the solar system, extrasolar. This is quite cool. Wait, would that be extrasolar? That would mean outside of the solar system, wouldn't it? Whatever, you get what I mean. Purchase the license, speak with the archivist, interview local scouts about the unusual site. Ah. Oof, you just googled what 14 split runs are. That's nuts. I don't know what a split run is. I don't think I've ever heard of that myself. So where is the first wisp? I think it's on the floor around here somewhere. I should probably tag down since there's a random player there trying to follow me. Might think that something's happening when it's not. I always feel kind of sorrowful and bad for people who see a tag and just run over there hoping there's something to do. They must have like no objective of their own. They're just hoping beyond hope there's something going on, you know? I guess their generic objective might be get a mastery or something. I think we're going to have to wiki this, guys. So we're doing Tales of the Lowland Wisps to get the locations. We're going to have to wiki it, I think. Tales of the Lowland Wisps. So, the very first one is underneath, as the hint suggested. It's really close to where I was. How am I missing this thing? I thought I was in the right area. It's like near this or something. Oh god, am I blind? I didn't do it already, did I? God, the sound of the wings, I love it. Why FF14 endgame wants ults? I think it's a very fringe thing that I just described there. I think some raid groups, they like to be able to do... Oh, there's the wisp. It's over on this rock. They like to be able to do, like, more re-clears or something. I think it's a very... It's not a normal thing that I just said. But if I'm going to be making another character anyway, it might be something to think about. Okay, so what? We just follow it? This is cool. I like the animation. Look, it's bouncing all over the place. Hello. I was on the wrong rock the whole time. Yeah, thank you for the guidance there, chat. You think all these collections hint they're going to continue? Do you now? Split runs are basically people running on ults multiple times while the other half of the group is gearing their main characters. It can reduce gearing time by at least 4 weeks. It's not as degenerate as how it goes in WoW. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about that. I guess that's the motivation there then? I think it's neat the bleed debuff happens sometimes when you're holding the kits because it's like they don't want to go back in and they scratch you. Yeah, I noticed that as well. I think that is cool. Oh my god, this is long. This is very long. Hold on, how many of these are there? If there's no dialogue with any of these guys, this might be a candidate for doing between episodes. Since we are at the 3-hour mark here, and I am a little bit nervous about that. But I don't want to give myself too much homework, so to speak. I want to do Forgotten Lore, I want to build up my homestead, and maybe do this? That would have the last episode featuring the Falling Star quest. Oh, here you go. I went to this torch. Okay. Oh, there are a lot. Complete all previous steps to unlock this. So here, I'll tell you what, we can at least do this. It looks like we do a bunch, and then some dialogue, and then we do a bunch and do some dialogue. So maybe these I do between episodes. So we do all of these now, and then we get the dialogue. So search in the forest near the rocky steps. So it's close to us, actually. It's trying to get my bearings here. We're at the Bjorn Thicket. It's like here. It's the next one. Should we roll a beetle? We haven't really done much of that. Armadillo roll. I need to go left more. Ah, a lot more, and not bump into the tree while I'm looking at the minimap. I sometimes wonder if I sit too close to my monitor, because it shouldn't be that casting my eyes to the bottom right causes me to lose so much, like, peripheral vision on the rest of the screen, should it? I mean, really. It's like my cone is... Oh, wait, hold on, there's still these abogger. By the way, I want to backtrack something I said about the abogger. Early on, I said, oh, there's a bogger. That's unfortunate they're reusing them because they're not fitting to the environment. Later on, I said, oh, no, the whole point is that they're an invasive species and there's only one event. No, there's loads of them. There are loads of abogger. They appear all over the place. But, again, they are invasive, though, nonetheless. So it's kind of a split between my two previous comments. May as well clean that up while I can. You wish the Wisps opened some lore too? I mean, this is fine. I just think it's not a side story right now. I'm happy for content like this in the game, but the thing is, this is in the category of side stories. This feels like more of kind of a fun bonus thing you can do as you're traveling around, you know. It's like following the spirits to find the chest, starting with End of Dragons, you know, Breath of the Wild style stuff. So, I mean, but who am I to say right now? Maybe there's a lot of dialogue coming up in a minute. And by the way, with regard to that whole split run thing and alt thing, the series I'm going to do is going to be a let's play of the story and leveling. It's not a raid series. And you don't have to be into raiding and endgame raiding to get value out of it. And if you want to play along with me, you don't have to... You know, that's suddenly a huge, big, intimidating topic that will probably scare people off. It's got nothing to do with my playthrough. How are there invasive boggers here, though? This area of the world has no contact with Alona. I guess that's an interesting thing to wonder about. Oh god, where's it going? I assume it's just rifts and magical instability has drawn them here. I don't know whether there's a more specific storyline coming out of that. There we go. So we get that one. Next one is... This one's a bit trickier to see on the map. Starts here. Oh, I know that one. That's the one in the cave that I've come across many times as we've played. Who else can we ride here? Look at my griffin, man. This is an amazing griffin. Roaring like a lion. You'll notice mixed herds of animal types in Janthir, similar to Bloodstone Fen. Yeah, I assume it's just magic-y wagic-y.
I could use an extra spear anyway.
I don't want to fight the warg.
Our target is quick. Tether it with your journey kit, and when it's weak, attack. No needless suffering.
Use that Aegis to try and complete my channel if I can. It's off. Oh, I wonder if they get faster and faster. Reminds me a bit of the Raven. Do you remember in Bura where you're flying and you follow the ravens and reflect them off the mirrors and all that? Reminds me a bit of that, which I quite enjoyed. Hello, yeah, I'm still following. Did it just wait for me there? Kind of feels like it might have. Oh, yeah, okay. It felt like it did again there. And then it also sort of seemed like it despawned. I don't know if I need to say ultra close, otherwise it dissipates. When do you think the channel update will drop? Anytime over the next few days. Because the truth is, FF14 isn't quite ready. I can either ultra rush and maybe get it ready quick, which I might genuinely do. Or I might do a mini-series in between, which will be Guild Wars related, and I've got to figure that out, so... But then there's the regular LPs to think about as well. Speaking of which, the penultimate episode of 6 is tonight. I made a mistake on the last episode of this. I thought it was 6. It was actually Zeus coming out. And one of the first of many long episodes there. I mean, Jesus, that was nearly 2 hours. A lot of them are around that ballpark, by the way. Just accept that that series is going to be like 2 hours per part going forwards. Hello, here's the... Oh, this is nice. Guys, another thing I want to say about this expansion. I have...
I will, Whispering Brook.
Oh, this is the same dialogue as at the other event. This is the Valraven event, but it's just spawned at a different area, and she's speaking in the exact same way. I had read on Wiki that there were 2 variations of this, and well, here it is. Yeah, this area in this expansion is the Delta, which to me, ever since I've been a Guild Wars 1 player, I've always been excited to come to this exact area.
My bearkin are
Oh, look at that.
self-sacrifice. You are thanked on all our behalf.
That's the last event for me here in this area.
Everything is all right now.
And we get another mastery point.
Mama and this kind stranger.
So she's off. So yeah, this area for me is like, you know, it's like as a Guild Wars 1 player looking at the Giant's Basin and wanting to go there or whatever. I remember when the raids came out and you could actually peer out into the lake, and it was so exciting for me. This is like, there used to also be a mountain on the map here in Guild Wars 1. I always wanted to go there. Anyway, this, to me, this Delta is like all time, I really want to go there. But over the years, and since mounts have come into this game, I've become less excited about map exploration in Guild Wars. Something about the style of exploring and stuff, I don't know. Something's just not been quite there. Maybe I'm just older and jaded or whatever, but basically I kind of have always been resigned to, oh, when we go to the Delta, it's going to feel a bit small, and it's going to feel... And I've been resigned to not really being that excited anymore. But then this expansion comes along and it takes me to the Delta, so I'm like, okay, cool. And as I explored this for the first time here on these videos, I basically took it as, yeah, all right, I'm here, whatever. And it, you know, it wasn't particularly captivating. However, the more time I've spent on this map, and especially with my second playthrough, okay, I actually think they knocked this out of the park. I really think they did. I don't think they could have done any better than they did. I think the way they've done this Delta is fucking awesome. I think this river system and this animation with the flowing water, and when you're in it, you're moving, and there's adventures in there, and there's logs falling over the waterfalls, and the scale of it, how high you are. Like, I think this is super cool. And it occurs to me, it was only on my second playthrough last night that I really put 2 and 2 together. Look at this. This is the Delta. They've done it as like these insane rushing rapids. And they properly fan and branch out and spread out into the ocean. They couldn't have done this better. This is fucking cool. I really... And it sort of only finally all clicked together for me. I couldn't have asked for a better version of this. So, this is genuinely... I seriously think... I mean, in terms of the content variety and stuff, maybe there are conversations to have. But I think this is one of the best maps they've ever put in the game, for me. Just based on my expectations of having to want to come here and what they did with the rivers. I think it's really cool. I think it's very fresh. I think it's fresher than what we saw in Saitang, which I also held as a pretty highly regarded map. There have been a few whiffs lately. I feel like the Jade Sea was a bit of a whiff. There were all these conversations about its colour and stuff and what we did there. The caves underneath it with the fishing, I think, were amazing. Echo Vald was a definite whiff. I don't think they nailed the gothic modern aesthetic that I was looking for. Secrets of the Obscure was entirely whiffs. Nios was a whiff. The first map was okay. Jock's Forge was a bit of a highlight, but an Amnitas, you know, it was full of cool lore and stuff, but basically with just a few blocks. This is the first map in a while since POF, really, that I'm like, this is a fucking good map. I think they did really well. And it only really dawned on me, you know, those rivers that I love are... It's the Delta. So, yeah. Just a little bit on my review, because I don't think I'm going to do a single structured review of all this. But, yeah. Okay, right. Next Wisp. Enough fanboying. We're going down here. You geeked out doing the Frogger event across the river. And, yeah, I think that was quite cool as well. I was even, like, noticing when I was doing that yesterday, like they've got all these different patterns the logs can appear in as they sail downstream. It's not just all the same flotsam in the same copy-paste over and over and over. Like, there's quite a lot of variation in that event as well, actually. And I thought that was quite cool. For all the criticism of copy and pasting events, if they'd copy-pasted that Frogger thing into a couple of other spots, I would have been fine with it. I really would have. WP, you missed one major aspect of the map. They can now make a real-life version of Sab 2.1. Yeah, I've been thinking this is kind of like the Rushing Rapids in Super Adventure Box. They could... It wouldn't surprise me if they had a little line in here saying Moto visited here once and it inspired him for that level. I think that would be cool. And that's my favourite Super Adventure Books level. So, you know, I'm not saying everyone's going to have the same opinion, but I like the woodlands, I like the rivery stuff. And, you know, the bears and the bees and shit is kind of a nice fun thing as well. And it's a good, like, juxtaposition with the extremely grim second map. Which also, by the way, I think there are certain vistas in there that look better than I gave it credit for as well. Some of the forested areas there look not bad at all. And Janthir's entry. And a place that I've spent very little time is the very bottom left, where the meta spawns in the bottom left. Where Greer goes. And it's like a proper, like, nasty swamp there. There's even a moment in the story where the commander's like, oh god, this place looks very different. Greer must have just turned this into a swamp. And I hadn't really acknowledged that before either. Speaking of the meta, we got to do that in the last episode for sure. We've got to. It's definitely your favourite since Jahai Bluffs. Jahai was really good as well, wasn't it? Oh my god. Jahai was very faithful to Guild Wars 1. Managed to get a good sense of a good scale. Did fun things with the engine, with that giant tornado and the pockets of reality. And had gorgeous places like those red rock cliffs near the sanctuary on the top left. And a cool meta event with the death branded Shatterer. With some good loot in it as well. Jahai was very good. Season 4 was just amazing. You know, Season 4 is on par with this, and you didn't pay any money for Season 4. They're asking for, you know, a yearly pocket for this, and Season 4 was just, hey, log in. What are you advising chat to do? This Super Adventure Books Music Book 2 and run around with the first song playing here on this map. Even better, do it during the Frogger event, right? POF, Living World Season 4 maps were all prime. Yeah, they were. And I will even extend it to the start of the Icebrood Saga. I still think there was a lot of quality in Grothmar and Bura 1. And Bura 2 as well, I guess. Because of the meta. Drakar was alright. I think they were really doing well. Obviously, there was a lot of wobbling leading into Icebrood Saga, and what we really wanted was an expansion. So there was this weird, like, veil of shit around it. But as far as the content itself was concerned, like, I don't think anyone was really happy that that was it forevermore, you know, with Guild Wars. We wanted expansions. We wanted a future that was further than Living World. And on those grounds, the Icebrood Saga failed. But if you just look at it compared to its peers, I think it was every bit as good. And then Drizzlewood, I think, sucked. But had a good meta. Drizzlewood's World versus World-esque meta, you can't take that away from it. There was a lot of cool details, even north of the map. It's really weird, guys. Like, I honestly think about all that stuff as so recent. It's like a second ago I was talking about Breath of the Wild affecting Guild Wars design with EOD, which increasingly is becoming a long time ago. Like, I think of Breath of the Wild as a new game. But, you know, there's all the talk about the new Switch and stuff, and, like, how we haven't had anything for ages and ages. And, I mean, there's Tears of the Kingdom as well, as even people are starting to think is older. I feel like I've grown up with the video game industry, you know? I grew up with it in the 90s, where new shit was coming out. Like, when I start covering classic Tomb Raider, and it's like there's a whole new game every year. Things have slowed down for me, and I feel like things have slowed down for the industry at the same time as well, obviously. You need to replay Tears of the Kingdom? My parents loved it, and I actually got them into, or my girlfriend kind of got them into Phoenix Rising as well, which is a bit of a clone of those games, set in ancient Greece. Has all stuff to do with Icarus and stuff, which I think looked really good as well. It's kind of like a funny version of that game. More puzzle heavy. Yeah, Breath of the Wild was 7 years ago. Yeah, exactly, right? It's like, there's a really good subreddit. Who is it? There's a subreddit that gives you facts like that. Like, oh, God, why does nothing come to mind? Like, Hitler was born the same year as this guy. And this guy, by the way, got old enough to listen to Simple Plan and watch Shrek 2 and stuff. It's like, can you imagine Hitler watching Shrek 2? Well, they're all sort of in the same ballpark. It's stuff like, there's a whole subreddit dedicated to that. It's got a really weird name. And I subbed to it maybe 2 weeks ago, and I keep getting stuff like... It's really cool. COVID came out 5 years ago. Came out. Is that how we describe it? Hey, guys, this Wisp thing isn't too bad, right? I mean, we just got the first big chunk done. You remember Game Boy being peak handheld graphics, and now you can get systems that run PC games or emulate up to PS2 Switch. Yeah, I remember being in college, and there were like really advanced browser games, like where you could play shooters and 3D games in your browser. And I remember thinking, this is insane. Like, I swear I needed a console to do this. But, and even that was a long time ago now. Okay, please return to me at your earliest convenience. I'd like to compare notes on our wisp findings. I'll be waiting for you at Moon Camp. And I'm nearly getting distracted there with the story starburst, which I should not have focused on too much. Where are we going here? I can't remember where this character was. Were they in the original? They're a Coden, I think. Maybe it's this icon, but again, you can never quite tell with the telegraphs here. I kind of want to go eat that rock. Here we go, yeah. Head Archivist, Stalwart Heart. Hello. Hello, Wayfinder. How goes the search? I've actually found quite a few.
Fascinating. And they led you to treasures, just like that. The one I encountered seemed hesitant. In all fairness, I was taken aback too. They're only visible to a select few, which seems to include us. Like you and I, another such seer is rumored to live here. A Lowland tribe member named Valiant Aria. She serves as a local liaison between trolls and lowlanders, though her efforts may very well extend to these wisps. Her home is by Loch Lucent, near the northern coast. Seek her out. See what info you can gather from her.
So only some of us see these wisps, and we're special in that way, are we? Interesting. I can see now why it is in this story journal area, right? Because there is a real story to it. A story side achievement. Oh, there's me getting distracted with the specific volume slider I want to mess with. Okay. Well, guys, so... Oh, well, no. We have a bit of dialogue first, I think, obviously, before we're going wisp hunting again. So, let's find... No, not that. That's Falling Star. Meet with Valiant Ara at Loch Lucent. Loch Lucent's like... It's funny to see this as a loch, because it's a very small pond, really, isn't it? But we'll go up there. This was where one of the wisps was that we found just now, actually. This NPC changed her name. Did she? What, is it part of the story? Is that a hint I'm supposed to notice, or just a patch thing? Yeah, X was born closer to Y today, where Y is some super ancient event or period. Yeah. There's some stuff for the Americans out there. There's something about, like, you can track all of American history through 3 people. Like, the day that this guy died, this guy was born. And then the day that that guy died, this guy was born, and he's still alive. That kind of thing, like... And obviously these are all extreme examples, but they're fun to think about. Oh, between Seekers of the Obscure and Janthir. Oh, I see. Hello, Valiant Aria. What do you think about the wisps? Yes, another Coden I see. To what do I owe this unexpected visit? Apologies, I was asked to speak with you about the wisp creatures.
A visitor. If I'd known to expect company, I'd have prepared some tea.
That's okay.
You're here on account of the wisps, then? I have my ways of keeping informed. That Skywatcher friend of yours is quite inquisitive. Motives clear as bog water, and surely every bit as pure. She'll be sad to hear that I'm not versed in the intricacies of the wisp's existence. Even the trolls know only so much. Still, perhaps I'll pay her a visit. As for you, I'm sure the wisps would continue to appreciate your respectful company.
So she's immediately cynical about that Coden. She's cynical that Coden has pure motive. Weird. Okay. Again, more about the two. It turns out that both of these quests we're doing here are sort of giving us details about how the Coden feel about each other. Okay, so guys, look. A couple more wisps. Found in a bog by a small stream with fresh water. Searching on the cliffs above the fishing village. Found on some rocks where fish fly. Hid on the southern tundra between rock and a hard place. And searched by the springs. You get it. It's just going to be 5 of these wisps. I am not going to stream those. I will do those between this episode and the finale, which is next time. The very last episode of the Janthir Wilds Let's Play will be next. We'll start it off by just wrapping this up with these Coden. We will do the meteor spear thing. We will give another shot at the meta and hopefully actually succeed. I'd love to succeed the meta or the world boss, whatever, however we want to phrase it, in Janthir Sintry. And also, off-screen, I will try to get some Forgotten Lore in there as well from Secrets of the Obscure. But, what I will also try to find any other books or ghost meetings that might be documented on the wiki we may not have seen. And, of course, one final round of Q&A and reflection. So, for my outro here today, I'd just like to say, this will be the last one. So, if you guys want to drop comments, how you feel if you want to give me your little review, I'd love to see that, because I've kind of done a retrospective, really, over these past few parts. Your review of how this went. Any lore questions or thoughts or things you think should really be there, drop those comments now, and we'll do a bonanza on the next part, the final part. As for masteries, what I will do... Oh, here, we've trained this already. Bearkin harvest. I didn't even finish talking about this. We had this done already. Harvesting techniques, you have a chance to gain a small amount of map-specific materials whenever you harvest something, so we can grab that. So, look, we're on the final tier here now, Scavenger of the Wilds, which is just more XP and items. I don't like this mastery, because we really should have charged it, I guess, or whatever. And then the final homesteading. So we're basically done with the masteries, which, by the way, is a lot more than I can say for Secrets of the Obscure, where I didn't even get that far on the original launch, and I still haven't finished. I don't even have the XP for Wayfinder Mastery. Can you believe that? So anyway, these are basically done. There is decorating. I'll see what I can do about that. It might be, though, guys, just in another project or another video or another point, you'll see me having decorated. I might do a one-off stream and tack it onto the end of the playlist or something, talking about decorating. We'll deal with that. But yeah, because obviously there's still a lot to learn about the Homestead and do, and I haven't really sunk my teeth into it. So yeah, but next time will be the finale. If you want something said, feel free to say it. I hope you've been enjoying the Let's Play, and I'll see you there for the grand finale next time. With whatever final lore we can get ready for. And then, of course, it'll be a 3-month gap for the next patch, and I'll be back as far as this series is concerned. But keep an eye out, and I'll have a channel update soon. Anyway, yeah, thank you, everybody. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for being there in the chat. Sorry if I upset anyone from missing any messages. I am trying. And I will see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.